Chapter 78. Lin Luoran is just a girl who grew up in an ordinary family. However, she is not as arrogant as other people when they suddenly become rich. Instead, she is extremely cautious. What is going on? However, when Guanjing has nothing to hide from Lin Luoran. When people are not on the same level, they usually resort to conspiracies. However, when there is a huge difference in power and they are just ants in the eyes of others, conspiracies are not as good as open conspiracies. In the current state of Huaxia, everyone under the level of bearing essence is an ant. Therefore, when Guanjing thinks for less than a minute and tells Lin the plan of the ministry last night. Miss Lin, on the night of Bermuda in half a month, I hope your master can help us. Night of Bermuda is obviously a well-known name. When Guanjing and others never think that Lin Luoran is just a lucky girl. She doesn't even know the current situation of the world of cultivation, let alone these secrets. As for asking her master for help, well, where can I find a master? Lin Luoran will definitely refuse. There is no impenetrable wall in the world. As long as it is a lie, it may be exposed. Lin Luoran wants to refuse on behalf of her master. However, what about next time? What about the next time? Lin Luoran squints her eyes and comes up with an idea in an instant. I don't understand what you are talking about, Mr. Wen. I can't agree to your condition. It seems that I can't go to your ministry. Lin Luoran doesn't mention her mysterious master at all, nor does she deny it directly. Such a specious excuse is the easiest to confuse people. Lin Luoran thinks that when Guanjing will give up after hearing this. However, she doesn't know that they have already confirmed that her master is the only master in the level of bearing essence. If Lin Luoran really agrees to invite her master, these people will doubt her words. Because of the limited Reiki in the world, even masters in the level of laying foundation will try their best to avoid unnecessary fights. Lin Luoran, a rookie with the bead, can't understand how difficult it is to refine Reiki, let alone cultivators in the level of bearing essence. Though they can make great power, it will take them a long time to replenish the consumed Reiki. As for when Guanjing's invitation, he doesn't expect to invite a master in the level of bearing essence. As long as he can get in touch with Lin Luoran, they will get closer to her sooner or later. Therefore, when Guanjing gets the answer he wants, he says with a smile, Miss Lin, the night of Bermuda only opens once in 100 years. Don't you want to try your luck? If you are lucky, you may find some relics of the masters in the relic. Not to mention magic treasures and cultivation methods, if you are lucky enough to find 1 or 2 elixirs, you will save yourself many years of hard cultivation. Lin Luoran has the space and she can grow elixirs as long as they are old. As for cultivation methods, Lin Luoran is tempted. What's the condition? When Guanjing says that the place is full of magic treasures and elixirs, Lin Luoran doesn't believe that there is such a good thing in the world. If there is such a place, they would have sent people to guard it and divide the loot. Only idiots would send more people there. She has never seen when Guanjing smile like a fox. He must be up to no good. When Guanjing laughs even harder, let's take a step back and not force you to join the department. I hope you can take a step back and we can help each other. What do you think? For example, during the Bermuda night this time, I hope Miss Lin can also give our department a hand. When our colleagues are in danger, just do your best to help them. Help each other? If it is feasible, it is a good suggestion. Lin Luoran needs a way to get in touch with the world of cultivation. It is better to have a certain degree of contact. When Guanjing's suggestion satisfies Lin Luoran's requirement, noticing that Lin Luoran is tempted, when Guanjing adds fuel to the fire, anything you find in Bermuda, no matter magic treasures, cultivation methods, elixirs, belongs to you. However, the department has to have the priority to exchange. What do you think? What else can Lin Luoran do? No matter if the special department is out of its mind or not, it is a good deal for Lin Luoran. Mr. Wen, I can't refuse your kindness. I will do my part in the night of Bermuda. Lin Luoran stretches out her hand. When Guanjing smiles and shakes her hand, I wish us a happy cooperation. Commander Qin is happy to see that the conflict between the special department and Lin Luoran can be resolved temporarily. After all, Lin Luoran messes with the special department because she wants to avenge Baojia. He can't just sit back and do nothing. Now that everyone is happy, he is relieved. Lin Luoran doesn't relax after the temporary compromise with Wen Guanjing. Instead, she turns around and says to Mu Tian, who has been silent, "Master Mu, you are very busy. Are you here to watch the fun with Mr. Wen?" Mu Tianen seems to have recovered. Does he forget the pain and wants to mess with her again? Lin Luoran sighs in her heart. Lin Luoran sighs in her heart. If he talks nicely this time, she doesn't mind compensating him for the ginseng seeds. Lin Luoran used to wonder why Mu Tianen, a mortal man, would be so obsessed with a few wild ginseng seeds with Reiki. After the Reiki Jade incident and Mu Tianan's familiarity with Wen Guanjing, Lin Luoran is sure that Mu Tianan is deeply involved in the world of cultivation. He wants to get the ginseng seeds back, and he has been looking for jade with auspicious Reiki. Maybe he really needs it. Hearing Lin Luoran's question, Mu Tianan coughs. Last time, he was hit by Lin Luoran's hand, and he hated Lin Luoran to the core. However, Lin Luoran's hand was full of tricky Reiki. Mu Tianan's internal force couldn't do anything to it. He couldn't stand the pain for 2 days. God knows how long the pain would last. Mu Tianan went back to the capital and told his father that Lin Luoran was probably a cultivator. His grandpa, on one hand, said that he was lucky enough to come back, but on the other hand he scolded him to death. Putting himself in his shoes, if the daughter of the Mu family was visited by someone at night, he would be lucky if he didn't slap her to death. Thinking of his purpose of coming here today, Mu Tianan wants to force a smile, but he doesn't want to flatter Lin Luoran. When he smiles, the corners of his mouth twitch, which is even weirder than a horror movie. Chapter 79. Lin Luoran's face turns cold, and the atmosphere in the room suddenly becomes gloomy. Wen Guanjing has solved his problem, so he doesn't want to stay any longer. He says goodbye, "Miss Lin, I'll keep in touch." Commander Qin is a shrewd man. Mu Tianan is not a cultivator, so he doesn't worry about Lin Luoran's safety. It's not a big deal for him to get involved in young people's business. To say the least, even if Mu Tianan wants to mess with Lin Luoran, he will be like a moth flying into the fire. Unlike the boy of the Lu family, Mu Tianan has watched Lin Luoran grow up. It has nothing to do with Commander Qin. Old people need to be active. You guys talk. I'm going out to do some exercise. Commander Qin goes downstairs and tells the soldiers who are guarding the door not to meddle in their business as long as no one is dead. A soldier's duty is to obey orders, so he will not question the commander's order. Commander Qin takes Lu Sanchun to do some exercise. Let's not talk about how the honest Lu Sanchun is exercised by the old but vigorous Commander Qin. In the room, Master Mu knows that he has made a mistake again without being reminded. Ahem, I mean, we have known each other for so long. Mu Tianan is good at coaxing women, but he has never coaxed a female cultivator like Lin Luoran, who is more powerful than him. He can't control his nonsense. Lin Luoran is so amused by his bitter face that she can't keep a straight face. She doesn't need to argue with him. He is a young man who has never said soft words, which makes people want to laugh. Master Mu, if you have something to say, just say it. You helped me in Rueli. As long as it's something I can do, I will return the favor. Mu Tianan takes a deep breath. He feels that Lin Luoran is so considerate and cute at this moment. Right, if she behaves like this for the first time, they won't be in a deadlock. Then I'll be straightforward. I want you to help me save someone. When it comes to business, Mu Tianan shows a rare serious face. He doesn't act frivolously anymore. Lin Luoran suddenly becomes cautious. She is not a doctor, and she has no medical skills at all. Last time when Baojia was in danger, she had no choice but to save Baojia from the edge of life and death. If it were not for the help of the mysterious bead, Lin Luoran might have to accompany Baojia to the bridge of helplessness. Now that she is asked to save Baojia's life, Lin Luoran instinctively becomes alert. However, she had spoken too confidently before, so she could only laugh it off. Young Master Mu, are you joking? I'm just a little cultivator who doesn't know any medical skills. How can I help you save people? You also know Wen Guanjing. If ordinary cultivators' methods worked, why did they come to me? Mu Tianan smiles mischievously again. Lun, an honest man doesn't do underhanded things. It's not good to pretend to be confused. Commander Qin's granddaughter, your good friend Qin Baojia, was saved by you, right? How can you say that you don't know medical skills if you can save people from the gates of hell? Lin Luoran's attitude has just softened. Hearing this, she can't help but say word by word, "You investigated me?" Mu Tianan waves his hand. No, don't get me wrong. When you saved people in the hospital that day, the Reiki of heaven and earth reacted too much. An elder of mine happened to pass by the General Military Hospital, so I knew that someone was using spells to save people. I didn't investigate you specifically. It's just that there are so many people in the capital watching Qin Baojia's life. It has only been a few days since she was in critical condition. Except for you, I really can't think of anyone else who could save her. Sure enough, is it too eye-catching? Lin Luoran doesn't regret that she gathered Reiki in order to save Baojia. Even if time flies and Lin Luoran knows that so many people will notice, she will still make the same choice. Baojia's life is far more important to her than the troubles of the outside world. However, Lin Luoran can't admit it. If she admits it to Mu Tianan today and really saves the person he wants to save, the entire privileged class in the capital will know it. Everyone has a headache. Lin Luoran has made up her mind to cultivate. She doesn't want to become a family doctor for the privileged class in the state of Huaxia. After thinking it through, Lin Luoran frowns and says, Master Mu, I think you know that my level of cultivation is about the same as Wen Guanjing's. How can I do what he can't? To tell you the truth, maybe it's not me who saved people that day. Now it's hopeless to ask that person for help. Sure enough, it's very close to what Grandpa Mu said. With her level of cultivation, it's really impossible for her to transform the Reiki of heaven and earth to cast spells to save people. After Lin Luoran finishes her words, Mu Tianan expects. He is a little happy that Lin Luoran told him the truth. It's really not her who saved people that day. Is it her mysterious master in the level of bearing essence who has been famous in the world of cultivation? We know it's a rash proposal to ask for your help. We, the Mu family, will definitely find an equivalent exchange. At that time, can you please forget about the past and help us? Just like Wen Guanjing, this is the truth that the Mu family hides under the table. Seeing that Lin Luoran's attitude is not bad, Mu Tianan tells her the real bottom line. Lin Luoran pretends to be very embarrassed and nods, but in fact, she is very happy. She is the master they are talking about. As for what an equivalent exchange is, it's still up to Lin Luoran. It's a big buffer for her to decide whether to save people in the future. Although Lin Luoran has made an excuse, she is still a little sad. Is it her Tao to leave people in the lurch for her own safety? The person that Mu Tianan wants to save is very important to him, right? Can that person really wait until the day when she has the ability to protect herself to save people? However, Mu Tianan clearly said that they are going to find something of equivalent value for the master to save people. Not to mention that the Mu family is not powerful enough. Can the person who is waiting to be saved really wait until the day when they find the treasure? Lin Luoran is very doubtful. Seeing Lin Luoran's doubt, Mu Tianan takes the initiative to add, but today, I really have a favor to ask of you. Fatty Chui once sold me a special jade. You know it, right? Lin Luoran feels a little guilty. She knows more than that. That jade was originally made by her. Mu Tianan doesn't see Lin Luoran's guilty conscience. He says, the master uses pure and peaceful Reiki to save people. I believe that there is a way to improve some things that are full of Reiki but too restless to be used. According to the master's opinion of you, it's not impossible for you to ask for 2 pieces of Reiki of the same quality as the jades sold by Fatty Chui. That's why I came here today to ask you to save people. Lin Luoran can make jade at any time. Mu Tianan has even explained the source of the jade to her. If she still doesn't agree, it will be too unreasonable. Lin Luoran asks tentatively, is that kind of jade very useful to the person you want to save? Mu Tianan nods. It can temporarily relieve his injury. What else can she say? Lin Luoran nods. In that case, I'll take it. Mu Tianan is overjoyed. Lin Luoran suddenly thinks of one thing. I have to tell you something. I did get the ginseng seed, but I can't give it back to you now. If I find the jade, can we make a deal? Lin Luoran refuses to admit it. Of course, Mu Tianen can't do anything about it. However, she did make the ginseng seed. Maybe Mu Tianan is so nervous because she wants to save people. Lin Luoran doesn't want her Taoist heart to be broken. She'd better make it clear. Mu Tianan is in a good mood after solving the problem of Reiki Jade. It's rare for him to be reasonable. He waves his hand generously. I was also wrong about that. Since you are willing to help me, even if I can't find the jade, I won't make it difficult for you anymore. Lin Luoran sighs. This is the first time that I feel that you are a man. You are such a woman. Mu Tianan suddenly looks like he is constipated. Chapter 80. In recent years, there had been a national craze for collecting antiques. There was a group of experts on TV all day to add fuel to the fire. Panjiayuan, located in the southeast corner of the third ring road of the imperial capital, was originally the largest old goods market in the country. Now, it was crowded with tourists and amateurs who wanted to collect antiques. Of course, the antiques were usually collected by them. However, few people know that Panjiayuan also has a stone gambling business. In some antique jade shops, the boss will put some raw jade stones in front of the shop to increase the popularity of the shop. It is just for fun. If you really expect to find jade in them, the probability is even lower than picking up the leftovers. This morning, Dong's jade shop has just opened. Wang, a new graduate, is wiping the counter with a rag when he sees a female customer looking at the raw jade stones on the ground. Customer, do you want to buy jade? Please come in. Every time he sells a piece of jade, he will get a commission. This young man, who has just started working, is full of enthusiasm for sales. He works hard every day. Hearing his words, the female customer in the windbreaker raises her head and smiles at him kindly. The rag in Xiaowang's hand falls on the counter unconsciously. 3 pure Taoist ancestors. Xiaowang dares to swear in the name of the ancestors of the Wang family that he has lived in vain for 23 years. He has never seen such a beautiful woman in the prosperous capital. Seeing the female customer smiling at him, Wang suddenly feels that the 2 pimples on his face must be an eyesore. He feels a little ashamed and doesn't know how to greet her. The female customer smiles and points at the pile of stones on the ground. Are these for sale? Her voice is like the rustling sound when the wind blows through the bamboo forest, making people feel peaceful and distant. At the same time, the bamboo leaves are like naughty little hands, scratching people's hearts. Thus, 2,000 for one. Wang comes back to his senses and nods like a chicken eating rice. The female customer doesn't bargain. She seems to pick 2 stones randomly and asks Wang to pay the bill. Wang should be happy when the stones are sold at a high price. However, he seems to be possessed today. He scratches his head and says, "That's for the customers to bargain. Since you are so straightforward, I'll make it 1,500 for one." When he said this, he also felt that it was too obvious, so he added, "I'll give you a special discount. Please come to the shop more often in the future to take care of business." The female customer didn't seem to hear the guilty conscience in Xiaowang's last sentence. She paid 3,000 yuan according to what he said. Xiaowang took the stack of notes and smelled a faint fragrance on it. Was it the smell of perfume? It was very simple and elegant. It must be a very expensive perfume. Such a woman should indeed use the best things in the world. Otherwise, it would be too unfair to her. After the female customer bought the raw stone, she didn't move it away immediately. After thinking for a while, she walked into the shop and looked at the jade on the glass counter. The Dong family's jade shop was small. Except for a few treasures, the rest of the shop was filled with cheap old jade that the boss collected from the countryside. There were also a lot of old jade pendants and pendants that the boss bought from the jade processing factory at a low price. Xiaowang knew that the boss's favorite customers were the ignorant nouveau riche, who were the real fat sheep to be slaughtered. This, and this. Wrap them up for me. The female customer's slender fingers swiped across the glass counter and selected 3 simple jade pendants as if she was making a selection. Xiaowang looked at the jade pendants carefully, and his drowsy heart suddenly became sober. Although the jade pendants were not very good and the price was not that expensive, the 3 jade pendants chosen by the female customer were all authentic pieces that Mr. Dong had personally collected. In other words, no matter the quality of the jade, they were real antiques. Xiao Wang felt that his forehead began to sweat. If he sold these 3 pieces, he would not get a commission and probably would not receive his bonus for the next few months. However, how could he tell such a dirty thing to the female customer? The female customer seemed to feel Xiao Wang's nervousness. She suddenly chuckled, "I picked the real ones. You will be punished by the boss, right?" So, she didn't choose them by luck? When Xiao Wang was still thinking about how to answer, the female customer pointed at 2 more jade rings. "Wrap these 2 together, and you will not be punished." Those 2 jade rings, on the other hand, were bought wholesale by the boss at the processing factory. They were all scraps of worthless materials processed by machines, so the wholesale price was even less valuable. If they were sold according to the marked price of the rings, they would make a huge profit. Xiao Wang was a little embarrassed, but the female customer seemed to see through his mind. "You are also a worker. I can't make things difficult for you. Wrap them all up." Xiao Wang, who was drifting in the north, felt a little warm in his heart. However, a man would shed blood rather than tears. He could only show his gratitude through his actions. He quickly wrapped the 5 pieces of jade in the most high-end gift boxes in the store. The total is 26,180 for the 5 pieces of jade. Thank you for your patronage. It's a whole 26,000 yuan. Officer Wang took the card from the female customer and quickly completed the payment procedure. "Customer, do you want me to call a taxi for you?" Xiao Wang noticed that the female customer, whom he couldn't take his eyes off of, didn't seem to have driven here. He was a little worried about the 2 raw stones she had bought. They were heavy things. How could he ask her to carry them back alone? Xiao Wang didn't notice that he was very considerate today. He wanted to make plans for the female customer. He just felt that she was not suitable to do such a heavy work out of instinct. The female customer only thought about it for a while and agreed to Xiao Wang's proposal. It was his good intention anyway, and it would be impolite to refuse. Xiao Wang ran to call a taxi. The female customer consciously moved to the door of the shop. There was no one in the shop, and it was good to avoid arousing suspicion. An old woman with a hunched back was wandering on the street. Seeing the female customer standing in front of the shop, who was well-dressed and beautiful, she immediately fixed her eyes on her. "Miss, can you have a look at this?" the old woman said while trembling. She took out a cloth bag from her arms and opened it layer by layer in front of the female customer with her skinny hands. The female customer wanted to wave her hand and say no. However, she saw that the old woman's hair was all white, and she was wearing a jacket in such a cold day. She couldn't straighten her back, and her lips were purple from the cold. The female customer's refusal was stuck in her throat. Looking down into the cloth bag, it was a phoenix hairpin made of pearls. The pearls were still glowing with a bright and glossy color. The white body of the hairpin seemed to be made of silver, which was quite rare. There were 2 exquisite phoenix heads on the body of a phoenix. But what was wrong? While the female customer was thinking about this, the old lady wiped her tears and said, "This is an heirloom in my family. If it weren't for the fact that my old man needs money for surgery, I wouldn't have thought of selling this." People with a little common sense knew that in Panjiayuan, the last thing you should listen to was stories. You were miserable, I was miserable, and everyone had their own misfortunes. In the end, your wallet was unlucky, and you had to carry back a pile of antiques produced last year. That was the most miserable thing. At first glance, this phoenix hairpin looked strange because it was too new. It seemed to have just been produced. The old woman looked at the female customer nervously, and her hand holding the phoenix hairpin unconsciously tightened. She went to several shops early in the morning, and the polite ones all said they weren't sure, while the impolite ones scolded her for selling such an obvious fake product so early in the morning. The old woman naturally knew what the phoenix hairpin was like. She just didn't understand why people said it was fake when it was an heirloom. If it weren't for her seriously ill husband, the old woman wouldn't have the courage to continue selling it. Would this beautiful girl buy it? The female customer looked at the phoenix hairpin carefully, and it seemed that she was a little tempted. At this time, Wang went to call a taxi and ran back with sweat all over his head. He was dizzy today. When he called the taxi, he remembered that there was no one guarding the shop, so he ran back in a hurry. Seeing the female customer standing outside the door, Wang was relieved, but then he felt that he was too pessimistic. How could such a person do such a thing? When Xiao Wang saw an old lady in tattered clothes at the door and asked a few simple questions, he instinctively frowned. He had seen all kinds of things in the past few months when he worked in Panjiayuan. He had heard the story of people waiting to have their kidneys and hearts changed dozens of times, so this was really a piece of cake. However, the rule of the antique industry was that even if you could tell the authenticity of an antique, you couldn't point it out when others were doing business. This was the rule. Wang didn't say it out loud, so he said to the female customer, "Customer, your taxi is ready." He had thought that the old woman would be unhappy, but the old woman didn't seem to understand the hidden meaning in his words. She just looked at the female customer who was still considering with expectation. "Old lady, how much are you going to sell this phoenix hairpin for?" Under the expectant gaze of the old woman, the female customer finally asked the price. The voice was still the same, like the sound of the wind passing through the bamboo forest, which was very pleasant to hear. Wang was secretly anxious. As long as you asked for the price, the swindlers could always lead you to buy these so-called antiques without knowing why. The old woman was scared by those shop owners, and she didn't know how to quote the price so that the girl in front of her would buy it. She was so anxious that her face turned red. The female customer seemed to be aware of the old woman's embarrassment, so she asked with a smile, "How about this, sir? How much does the operation cost?" Wang was so shocked that his jaw almost dropped. The old woman didn't understand for a moment, and when the female customer repeated, she was surprised, happy, and worried. 50,000. Then she regretted it. If the only buyer was scared away by this price, how could she pay for her husband's operation? The female customer didn't object to the price, so she quickly took out 50,000 yuan and bought the phoenix hairpin. She was afraid that the old woman would be targeted by others, so she called a taxi for her. This process was swift and decisive, and Xiao Wang, who was watching from the side, was stunned. It wasn't until the female customer left with the raw gemstone in the taxi that Wang realized what was going on. The female customer had a good eye, and she could pick out the real one from a pile of fake jade. How could she not recognize the phoenix hairpin? Wang just didn't know whether the phoenix hairpin was real or not. No matter what the result was, it couldn't erase her kindness. If it was fake, the female customer just sympathized with the old woman, but if it was real, she paid 50,000 yuan. It was just a pearl hairpin. Even if it was real, it might not be worth that much. Chapter 81. Though he knows that Mississippi Lin is very capable, he can't watch a girl carry heavy things under his nose. "Mississippi Lin, why did you carry 2 big stones back?" Even with his strength, Lu Sanchun feels that the stones are heavy. He can't figure out why Lin Luoran, who looks so delicate, can carry them as easily as carrying 2 bags of vegetables. Lin Luoran smiles. "There are also good things in the stones. You will know later." Lu Sanchun still doesn't understand. He just scratches his head and helps Lin Luoran carry the stones upstairs. It seems that Commander Qin is not at home. Lin Luoran goes to see Baojia first. She is no longer sweating and the Reiki inside her is stable. Commander Qin said that there are 5 kinds of Taoist root. Lin wonders which kind Baojia is. But wait, what kind of Taoist root is she? Lin Luoran suddenly remembers that she has been absorbing Reiki from the bead when she was meditating. The Reiki is so pure that it doesn't seem to be divided into different kinds. She has never tried to feel the 5 kinds of Reiki in the world. That day when she fought with Wen Guanjing, he just made a hand gesture and the fire Reiki was activated. Does he have the Taoist root of fire? Lin Luoran's amazing memory seems to be a bonus of cultivation. Now she recalls that although Wen Guanjing made the hand gesture very fast that night, he was interrupted several times. Therefore, Lin Luoran can observe him for several times for free. The trajectory seems to be like this. Lin Luoran moves her fingers slightly and walks out of Baojia's room slowly. She went to buy the jade and planned to study the magic circle on the jade pendant. Suddenly, she remembers that compared with engraving magic circles on the jade pendant, It should be easier for her to master the fireball when Guanjing casts that day. After all, she has observed the whole process of casting the spell. Unlike the magic circle on the jade pendant, which is blocked by cracks, Lin Luoran needs to keep studying and experimenting. The Qin family's villa is big with a quiet rooftop. Lin Luoran is afraid that the experiment in the house may destroy Commander Qin's house, so she goes to the rooftop. Lin Luoran takes a deep breath. She closes her eyes and recalls the whole process of when Guanjing casting the fireball. First, the middle finger and little finger of the right hand were straightened, and the other 3 fingers were crossed. Then, the thumb and middle finger were placed on the second knuckle of the ring finger. If one didn't have slender and soft fingers, doing this action would cause their hands to twist. Cultivation really wasn't something that ordinary people could play around with. Lin Luoran sighs in her heart. Then she follows the second movement of the Taoist hand gesture. It's just a small fireball. Following this movement, there are 36 Taoist hand gestures superimposed. Lin Luoran has an amazing memory. After thinking for a while, she can slowly display the set of 36 hand gestures. After recalling, Lin Luoran starts from the beginning again. She performs the 36 hand gestures one after another. The result is obvious. Lin Luoran is not a genius like those in novels. She can cast a fireball on her first try. God bless the 3 pristine Taoist masters. What the hell is happening in broad daylight? Lin Luoran is just a beginner. She doesn't think that she can master it after one try. Anyway, the weather is good today. She just lies on the rocking chair and ponders leisurely. Judging from when Guanjing's speed of making 36 hand gestures without any pause, Lin Luoran can tell that he must have practiced for many times. Lin Luoran is lying on the chair and her body is relaxed. However, her right hand keeps doing the 3 movements. When Ms. Huang asks her to have dinner, she can't help making the orchid fingers with her right hand. Seeing Ms. Huang's surprised look, Lin Luoran smiles embarrassedly and goes to the rooftop after dinner. Lin Luoran is fascinated by the 36 hand gestures and she doesn't ask why Commander Qin doesn't come back for dinner. Lin Luoran is not very smart since she was a little girl. She was able to get into a middle school in the county and go to a university in the provincial capital because of her perseverance. Lin Luoran can repeat the boring science questions over and over again. Now that she is interested in the spell of fireball, Lin Luoran keeps repeating the movement without feeling annoyed. Lin Luoran has been practicing until the evening. Her hard work finally pays off. She is only 10 seconds slower than Guanjing when he made 36 sets of Taoist hand gestures when she is fast enough. However, Lin Luoran still hasn't mastered the key to casting the spell of fireball. She can't help but wonder if the 10 seconds slower can make a decisive difference. No, when Guanjing cast the spell that day, the Reiki molecules around him responded to him. Lin Luoran tries to connect the dots and she finds nothing unusual. Does the spell of fireball make the Reiki in the air respond to her? At this moment, Lin Luoran forgets that she doesn't know what kind of Taoist root she belongs to. In fact, even if she knows the nature of her Taoist root, she probably doesn't know that the nature of a cultivator's Taoist root determines the nature of the spell that a cultivator can cast. That is to say, if a cultivator is a cultivator with the nature of water and wants to cast the spell of fireball, he can only use magic figures or some treasures with the nature of fire to help him temporarily. Lin Luoran closes her eyes and relaxes her body and mind. Gradually, she feels that the world is silent and she is the only one standing on the rooftop of the Qin family. After a while, she can't even feel where she is standing. She seems to be floating in the air. After another quarter of an hour, Lin Luoran doesn't feel that she is floating anymore. She feels that she is in the endless night sky. The bright lights of the imperial capital lit up like many little stars in the sky. However, the beautiful scene in front of Lin Luoran is incomparable. After she is in the world, there are colorful light spots around her. Red, cyan, blue, gold, brown. Are they the Reiki molecules of the 5 elements? Lin Luoran is surprised by the beautiful scene in front of her. The light spots are like colorful fireflies flying in the air. They are more beautiful than any colorful lights. So, are the red elves with tails the Reiki molecules of the fire Reiki? Lin Luoran finally remembers her purpose. She carefully separates a strand of her spiritual mind to touch the Reiki of the little elves. The little elves are having fun on their own. Suddenly, a strange breath comes to Lin Luoran. Unlike the other 4 kinds of Reiki that play with them, Lin Luoran's spiritual mind doesn't pay attention to it at all. Lin Luoran's spiritual mind was damaged a few days ago. It looks dispirited and not aggressive, so it doesn't cause the agitated Reiki to attack it. Naturally, Lin Luoran doesn't pay attention to it. Lin Luoran tries to get close to the fire Reiki. After a long time, her spiritual mind is exhausted. In reality, her face is covered with sweat. At this moment, Lin Luoran is in such a mysterious state that she doesn't notice anything wrong with her body. When Lin Luoran tries to get close to the fire Reiki but fails, the bead in her right hand moves slightly. Above the cabin that Lin Luoran has been unable to enter, a flame comes out of nowhere. It jumps for a while and then goes into the cabin through the invisible inhibition. The cabin shakes for a while and then calms down. Lin Luoran can't see any change with the naked eye. On the other hand, the hazy Reiki in Lin Luoran's body sensitively and passively senses the change inside the bead. A strand of red Reiki is separated from the chaos. It seems that the Reiki doesn't want to stay with the Reiki of the same nature anymore and goes to other meridians. There are many subtle meridians hidden in the human body. Even some cultivators may not know how many meridians there are, let alone the doctors of the mortal world. In the long road of cultivation, even some cultivators with high personal ability don't know how many meridians there are. Cultivation has been passed down for many years and there is a set of fixed routes in it. Generations of cultivators covet the ready-made spells, which are easy to remember and understand. They have long lost the use of exploring other meridians. After all, they don't need to use them for cultivation. Why waste time on studying them? Lin Luoran, on the other hand, has stepped onto the road of cultivation from a mortal world. She has no master to guide her. However, she does everything according to her heart. She doesn't have a master to guide her. Instead, she has the advantage of being arrogant. As soon as she has an idea, she can try and explore it. She is very bold. At this time, the Reiki of the 5 elements on the earth are all restless. Normally, when cultivators in the level of training Qi start to practice spells, they all do it under the guidance of their masters. They are afraid that if they don't cast the spells properly and annoy the bad-tempered Reiki molecules, the spells will backfire on them. Lin Luoran is the only one who is fearless. She even learns the spell from Wen Guanjing, not to mention the guidance of a master. Lin Luoran doesn't feel anything. She feels something unusual in her body and wakes up from the state of perceiving the nature of nature. She wipes the sweat off her forehead and takes a rest. Then she relaxes and enters the state of inner vision. Why does that wisp of fiery red spiritual Qi in my body, which seems to have quite a personality and is hiding in another meridian to act like a big shot, look so familiar? Lin Luoran separates them and finds that they look the same as the fire Reiki with a small tail. Lin Luoran is excited. For the first time, the Reiki in her body have different properties. Does she have the Taoist root of the fire? No, even if the attribute of his Taoist root was accidentally awakened just now, the Reiki should have all turned fiery red. Why was there still so much Reiki with no attribute remaining in the original meridians without any movement? Lin Luoran thinks of a possibility and suddenly loses the motivation to continue learning the spell of Fireball. Cultivators with the Taoist root of a single nature are geniuses in cultivation. Jiang Mingyue has the nature of water and wood. The nature of water is complementary to the nature of wood, so she has a good aptitude. However, she has the nature of fire, but there is still a bunch of Reiki with unknown properties. Has it not been awakened? Chapter 82. In tens of thousands of years, those seniors who have advanced to higher realms have used their life experiences to summarize the essentials of cultivation for the younger generation. Talent, cultivation method, elixirs, magic weapons, and money. It can be said that these 5 essentials are indispensable to the end. Not to mention talent, If a person doesn't have the Taoist root, he can't step on the road of cultivation even if he has the wealth of a country. And the quality of the Taoist root is the basis for advancement. Only 1 in 10,000 mortals has the Taoist root. In the glorious era of cultivation, people in the level of training qi are not even real cultivators. The gap between training qi and laying foundation prevents those training qi cultivators with 4 or 5 natures who don't have special opportunities from entering the real world of cultivation. Apart from the core areas of the blessed enclave where the spiritual energy was abundant, the density of the spiritual energy, there was not much difference between the cultivators who lived in the deep mountains with verdant hills and clear waters. Moreover, with a high-level cultivation technique, the time it took others to refine 1 portion of spiritual energy, but you could refine 1.5 portions, or even 2 portions, or even more. As time passed, the gap between 2 people who originally had similar aptitudes would slowly widen. Elixirs can give you more resistance to advancement when you are in a bottleneck. They can shorten the time of cultivation or increase the effect of cultivation. They are really indispensable at home or on trips. As for a powerful magic weapon, it can increase the safety of cultivators on the long road of cultivation. As long as there are mortals, there will always be new cultivators. However, some treasures of heaven and earth need thousands of years to grow after being picked. How can they keep up with the consumption of cultivators? As time goes by, disputes can be seen everywhere for a spirit herb that is hundreds of years old. With a good magic weapon, cultivators can naturally save their lives in the fight, and they can even get spirit herbs and elixirs that can enhance their personal ability. It is really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Money is needless to say. Although cultivators have a longer life than ordinary people, they can't always look for raw materials for making elixirs and weapons by themselves. The land of Shenzhou is vast, which is a waste of time and energy. At this time, the importance of money can be highlighted. Even if you have money, there will be countless cultivators who need money coming to you to sell and exchange. Of course, the money here is not the paper money of Huaxia today. Lin Luoran is not in the mood to practice the fireball spell because of her poor aptitude. She goes back to her room and naturally doesn't have the energy to try to make weapons. However, the phoenix hairpin that she bought for 50,000 yuan is lying quietly on the table. Its unique style is very attractive. Dragons and phoenixes were the traditional totems of the Huaxia clan. Even today, they could be seen everywhere, not to mention in ancient times. In some dynasties, they were even used exclusively by the emperor's family. If ordinary people used them, it would be a taboo and would not be allowed. But no matter how much it was forbidden, it could not overcome the love of beauty in the hearts of common women. Gold was too conspicuous, and jewelry made of silver and pearls as raw materials could unavoidably have the figure of a phoenix. However, the antique that Lin Luoran bought is very strange. The hairpin is in the shape of a double-headed phoenix. Maybe one is a phoenix and the other is a phoenix? The clerk of the jade shop is kind, but Lin Luoran doesn't sympathize with others just because she feels sorry for them. Because of the special nature of the material of pearls, they can't be passed down for thousands of years like jade wares. The longer the pearls are worn, the softer they will be. Therefore, it is hard to determine the value of antiques made of pearls. Except for the crowns of emperors and queens, no matter how knowledgeable a collector is, it is hard to tell the origin of a bare bead. Even common jewelry will only have the shop's logo on it. It is hard to identify the value of the pearl because there is no historical record to prove who has worn it. What's more, the hairpin Lin Luoran bought is in such good condition. There is no trace of weathering. It is so new that it looks like a pearl hairpin made last year. It doesn't look like an antique at all. More importantly, it is blue. Hey, don't be so obvious. In this world, there are no blue pearls except dyed ones. However, Lin Luoran still buys it. It is not because the old man says that it is an antique. It is because she feels a trace of very weak but certain reiki from the hairpin. Lin Luoran is a novice cultivator, but she knows one thing. Things with reiki, such as jade, can't be ignored even if you don't know it. So, she has bought it, right? Lin Luoran thinks that she has bought an item related to cultivation with the banknote of the state of Huaxia. She feels a lot better now. However, What on earth is this blue double-headed phoenix hairpin? Lin Luoran looks at it for a long time. It is just a unique hairpin. Is it a piece of jewelry worn by a female cultivator and has been with it for a long time, so it has a trace of Reiki? Lin Luoran immediately rejects this idea. Not to mention that female cultivators may not wear earthly pearl hairpin. Even if there is an exception, ordinary materials can't keep Reiki for such a long time. So, what on earth is this thing? Is it something like the jade pendant? Lin Luoran decides to have a try. When choosing the Reiki in her body, she instinctively avoids the red fire Reiki. The blue bead seems to be moist, so it should not be suitable for fire Reiki. Reiki of no attribute seeps into the phoenix hairpin without any hindrance. As the blue light turns on, the whole phoenix hairpin changes amazingly. First, the double-headed phoenix is split into two. Then, the body of the hairpin is also cracked. If the cracks on both the phoenix head and the body of the hairpin are not so neat, Lin Luoran would think that she broke the blue pearl phoenix hairpin by testing it rashly. However, it's okay that you split up. What does it mean that you are growing up slowly? Lin Luoran frowns and says nothing. She doesn't know whether she should continue to fill the hairpin with Reiki or not. She is afraid that this is a one-time high-risk item. Unfortunately, the only condition to activate it is to fill it with enough Reiki. She can't be so unlucky, can she? Lin Luoran looks at the double-headed phoenix hairpin. No, it is now two single-headed phoenix hairpins. She looks at Commander Qin's elegantly decorated villa. If this is a bomb, she has no place to throw it. Chapter 83. The only thing Lin Luoran can do is to buy the 2 raw stones she bought. She promised to give the stone to Mu Tianan, so she doesn't plan to cut it open. She just uses the bead as a Reiki converter to turn the rolling mist inside the jade into peaceful and absorbable Reiki. Lin Luoran thinks this is the fastest way to make money if she doesn't expose the fact that these cultivators who have a hard time with their personal ability can swallow the stone alive. Thinking that she may be kept in captivity by a group of cultivators to make this special jade as a profession, Lin Luoran shivers. She comforts herself that she only needs enough money. Freedom and life are the most important things. Lin Luoran calls Mu Tianan and tells him that he can come to pick up the goods at any time. Lin Luoran enters the bead space that she hasn't taken care of for a long time. The fleece flower seeds she sowed before have already burst out of the soil and become sprouts. Lin Luoran has to pick up the bamboo poles in the space to make shelves for them one by one. This is really a big project. If she had known this earlier, she wouldn't have planted them together. Lin Luoran comforts herself while inserting the bamboo poles. Although it's hard now, she will get a batch of fleece flowers instead of one. There are hundreds of fleece flowers squeezed together. If she doesn't separate them, they will be entangled. When the fleece flowers are ready, Lin Luoran touches her nose. The 6th-century-old ginsengs are full of small red fruits. They also choose this time to ripen. Fortunately, there is still some open space in the space. Otherwise, there will be no place for sowing after ripening, which will be sad. Immersed in the joy of harvest, Lin Luoran doesn't notice that the prohibition over the cabin seems to have a fiery red wave after she comes in. Then it immediately returns to normal. Looking at the vegetables piled up like a hill in the space, Lin Luoran wonders if she should take some out to eat. She always feels that it's a waste to just leave them in the space. The fireball spell, the magic circle, and the quality of the ginseng. Lin Luoran has a lot to think about today. She transplants the fleece flower and ripens the ginseng seeds. Lin Luoran leaves the space after sowing the seeds. She feels lucky that the essence of the whole plant will be exhausted when the seeds are ripened. Lin Luoran feels so comfortable now that she has to choose between the herbs and the next generation. Lin Luoran is biting a tomato that is no longer small. She doesn't even notice that the space is full. Otherwise, she wouldn't have sown the fleece flower seeds so densely. Today, she finds an open space to transplant the fleece flower seeds. It seems that the space is getting bigger today. Lin Luoran carries the vegetables to the kitchen and goes back to her room with a tomato in her mouth. She is ready to start her cultivation tonight. The tomato is thin and juicy. The room is full of fragrance. When Lin Luoran passes by Baojia's room, she seems to be attracted by the smell of the tomato. Baojia's eyes, which have been closed for 9 days, are still closed. However, the eyeballs under her eyelids seem to move. Cultivation is hard. Lin Luoran has been prepared for it since Commander Qin told her about the crazy Taoist words. If she is still the kind of person with poor quality, how can she be blessed by God? Lin Luoran takes a look at the bead on her right wrist. Because of the universe inside the bead, Lin Luoran always feels that the bead is smart and alive. No matter whether the bead chooses her or not, she can't let it be covered with dust after 100 years and be regarded as a slightly brighter pearl. Lin Luoran sighs and adjusts her mind. She starts her daily homework, which is to meditate and cultivate qi into her body. Since there is no jade, the bead has no right to be picky. It still has to absorb the very little and restless Reiki floating between the sky and the earth. Some of the Reiki is kept as labor fees, and the rest is tamed and transferred to Lin Luoran, who is cultivating. However, today is a little different. The bead doesn't transform all kinds of Reiki into the white Reiki in Lin Luoran's body as usual. Instead, it removes the fire Reiki and mixes it with the chaotic Reiki and transfers it to Lin Luoran together. As Lin Luoran breathes, the Reiki sent by the bead is directed to her meridians, and the unique fire Reiki also goes to where it should be. This is really confusing. After another night of cultivation, Lin Luoran feels refreshed when she opens her eyes. The frustration of practicing the fireball spell the day before is swept away by the wonderful feeling of cultivation. She goes downstairs as light as a bird. She greets Commander Qin, who is reading the newspaper, Ms. Huang, who is cooking, and Lu Sanchun, who is practicing boxing in the yard one by one. Everyone can see that she is in a good mood. Influenced by her, the day starts well. After breakfast, Mu Tianan's car stops downstairs. He knows that he should greet Commander Qin before he carries the raw stone into the car. Why only one instead of two? On the one hand, Lin Luoran doesn't want her labor to be so cheap. On the other hand, people are greedy. Lin Luoran gives him 2 for the first time, so she has to give him more in the future. Otherwise, kindness will turn into hatred. Lin Luoran sits in the passenger seat. Mu Tianen turns around and smiles at her from time to time. Lin Luoran always feels creepy when she looks at him. But then again, how come she and Mu Tianen suddenly become friends instead of enemies? Lin Luoran still feels confused when she thinks about it. Mu Tianen drives an off-road vehicle to load the raw stone today. Otherwise, the stone can't even fit in the car. Lin Luoran doesn't recognize the brand of the car for a while. Then she remembers that Mu Tianen has changed several cars to show up in front of her. In Rueli, he even said that he would lend her 100 million yuan. Is the Mu family a family of cultivators? It seems that the Mu family is very powerful. Lin Luoran has to remind herself that even if Mu Tianan is the middleman, she still has to be careful when dealing with the Mu family. The car goes all the way to the suburbs. Lin Luoran looks at the road sign and wonders, Fragrant Hill Park? Mu Tianan nods. The Mu family's old house is in Fragrant Hill. Lin Luoran is speechless. Well, it is true that the Mu family is powerful. Anyone who pays a little attention to history books knows what Fragrant Hill is. It was built in the Jin dynasty. After successive generations of expansion, it was named Jingyi Garden in the reign of Emperor Qianlong. Red leaves of Fragrant Hill is a thing that can be used in primary school textbooks. Now Mu Tianen actually tells her that the Mu family's old house is in Fragrant Hill. Hey, even if it's a cultivation family, there's no need to use public property for private purposes to this extent. I'm really speechless. Alright, I'm really not jealous, but I'm really looking forward to the feeling of being able to enclose a mountain and do whatever I want. Mu Tianen squints at her. You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. What do you mean by using public property for private purposes? That large piece of land is obviously donated by the Mu family after liberation, okay? Well, is that so? Lin Luoran feels embarrassed and finally closes her mouth. She just watches without saying a word. Mu Tianen rarely humiliates her, so he is in a good mood. He hums a tune all the way. The car passes through the winding mountain road flexibly. The direction is completely opposite to the entrance of the park. Lin Luoran guesses that it looks like the back of the mountain. There is a European-style carved iron gate. The white doorpost stands among the flowers and trees, looking elegant and tranquil. Mu Tianan snaps his fingers, and the gate opens slowly. Mu Tianan drives the car all the way in and smiles brightly at Lin Luan. "Welcome to Fragrant Hill Villa." Lin Luoran is speechless. Is this really the place where cultivators live? Chapter 84. Master. Maid costume. My yen%. Mu Tianan sees that the big bodhisattva beside him doesn't look good. He quickly winks and tells the noisy girls to leave. He smiles awkwardly. "The front yard is where I live. The old man and the others don't come out easily in the forest. I'm afraid we have to walk for a while." So, she has to climb up with a stone in her arms? Although Lin Luoran is a nice person, she is still unhappy. Mu Tianan is not as careful as Lu Zheng, so he doesn't notice it at all. After all, she is an adult. She can't do such a childish thing. She can only get out of the car. She doesn't care about the stone anymore. She asks Mu Tianan to carry her and they walk into the forest together. It rained last night, so Lin Luoran is as light as a butterfly. Her feet barely touch the ground. Mu Tianan is holding a heavy stone in his arms, so he can't use his lightness skill at all. His Italian handmade white leather shoes are soon out of color in the mud. Looking at Lin Luoran's relaxed look, Mu Tianan grits his teeth. It's good to be a cultivator. Should he also pester Grandpa to walk on this path? Lin Luoran looks at the handsome Master Mu who is left behind. He is so embarrassed in the mud. Lin Luoran's previous annoyance turns into a smile. She keeps on walking with a smile. There is no fork on the mountain. Lin Luoran and Mu Tianan soon reach the end of the fork. It is a small cottage made of cattail straw. There is a fence in front of the door, which is covered with morning glory. The fog in the mountain makes the cottage feel like a fairy. Lin Luoran breathes a sigh of relief. It finally looks like a cultivator. Lin Luoran doesn't deliberately stay silent, so the people in the cottage have already noticed their arrival. "Miss Lin, I hope you don't blame me for not coming out to greet you earlier. This is really an unexpected situation. I hope you can come in and have a chat." The voice came from inside the house. It sounded a little weak and loud. "It's my grandpa." Holding the stone, Mu Tianan is a little breathless. He is afraid that Lin Luoran underestimates him, so he is holding back his strength. Lin Luoran looks at her clothes. There is not even a speck of mud on them. She walks a few steps and pushes open the half-closed wooden door. There seems to be some mist in the room. There are some futons made of straw on the ground. It seems to be a place for meditation. Lin suddenly realizes that the weeds in her space can also be made into futons. However, Mr. Mu is not the only one in the room. Two old men are sitting on futons with their legs crossed, one in front and the other behind. Their palms are against each other's backs, which is the standard way of treating wounds in TV series. An old man with white hair and beard knows that Lin Luoran is coming in. He opens his eyes slightly and nods to her. Lin Luoran notices that he looks a bit like Mu Tianan. She guesses that he is Grandpa Mu. Seeing that he is healing others, it seems that he is not the one who needs these special jades to prolong his life. Is it the other old man who is sitting cross-legged? Lin Luoran can't help but use her spiritual mind to explore the two old men. A vast power rises. Lin Luoran's spiritual mind, which has not recovered, is shaken again. Lin Luoran's face turns pale. The two old men's personal abilities are much higher than hers. Are they seniors in the level of laying foundation? Lin Luoran doesn't want to test them anymore. She stands aside and waits quietly with Mu Tianan who is holding the stone. After about half an hour, Grandpa Mu slowly stops. His face is so pale that it seems that he has just been seriously ill. Mu Tianan hurriedly puts down the stone and helps the old man to sit on the wooden chair in the room. After a while, he helps the other old man who seems to be seriously injured to sit on another wooden chair. Different from Grandpa Mu, this old man has a high personal ability but looks like a bandit. Well, he is a bit like Commander Qin, who was in the corridor of the hospital when Baojia was critically ill. Lin Luoran doesn't know that it is very rude and taboo for her to spy on others' personal abilities like this in the world of cultivation. However, the two old men don't care about it. After resting for a while, Grandpa Mu seems to have calmed down. He nods to Lin Luoran and says, "Even with the help of a famous teacher, Miss Lin, you are so talented. Just now, I saw that you are only one step away from the completion of the level of training Qi. In less than 15 years, Miss Lin, there will be another cultivator in the level of laying foundation in the state of Huaxia." Lin Luoran keenly catches the key words in Grandpa Mu's words. The completion of training Qi. Is this the level that she is about to reach? This is the first time for Lin Luoran to figure out her personal ability. It seems that this trip is worth it. Grandpa Mu, who is resting with his eyes closed, finally opens his eyes. He looks at Lin Luoran and says, "Mu, let's make a bet. In 10 years at most, she will have a chance to lay foundation. According to the decreasing rate of Reiki in the world, she may be the last female cultivator in the level of laying foundation in Huaxia." The last female cultivator in the level of laying foundation? Lin Luoran is very satisfied with the high evaluation of Grandpa Mu and Grandpa Mu. However, deep in her heart, she is not satisfied with the level of laying foundation. If there is a chance, she will work hard on cultivation. Lin Luoran hopes that she can go further and see more beautiful sceneries. Except for Wen Guanjing, who is good at fighting, Lin Luoran has never dealt with anyone in the world of cultivation. Hearing that Grandpa Mu and Grandpa Mu bet on her, Lin Luoran doesn't know what to say. Fortunately, Mu Tianan appears out of nowhere with 3 cups of steaming tea in his hands. Stroking his beard, Grandpa Mu smiles. This is the Dahong Pao tea from the mother tree in Mount Wui. Although it is not as good as the spirit tea in the cultivation world, it is still a good thing for the Mu family in this mortal world. I hope Miss Lin will be treated well. Dahongpo tea from the mother tree in Mount Wui is not a good thing. If someone else says this, Lin Luoran will definitely think that he is showing off. However, Grandpa Mu says it in such a natural and harmonious way. It's this master. Lin Luoran is not sure about her judgment and she can't say too much. Hearing that Grandpa Mu says the tea is good, Lin Luoran lowers her head and drinks the tea. Sure enough, her mouth is full of fragrance. The taste is different from the food in the space. It is a unique fragrance. When is she going to get a tea branch and plant it in the space? After the improvement and cultivation of the space, the Dahongpo tea with Reiki can be planted. Is it the spirit tea that Grandpa Mu mentioned? Before Grandpa Mu answers, Mu Tianan can't help but say, "This is Grandpa Gua. I asked you for this jade to cure his wounds." The old man, who is called Grandpa Gua by Mu Tianan, smiles bitterly. "I'm just an old bag of bones. I've done so much for you. It's better for me to return to the earth." Instead of being angry, Grandpa Mu laughs. "Here you go again. If you hadn't sneaked into that tiny country and been plotted against by the messenger of Orochi, you wouldn't have been injured for so many years." Orochi? Isn't it a creature in Neon mythology? Does it really exist? A thought flashes through Lin Luoran's mind. Could it be that the characters in Huaxia mythology are also cultivators? However, Grandpa Mu is a shrewd old man. He won't mention these things at this moment. Does this mean that Lin Luoran mentioned the reason why Grandpa Gua got injured on purpose to make her sympathize with him? Chapter 85. Grandpa Mu is embarrassed, but Lin Luoran is in awe. If she were in Grandpa Mu's position, she wouldn't be able to stay calm when she is seriously injured and waiting for the life-saving medicine. However, she is now standing in a dangerous building. Even Grandpa Mu, who is in the level of laying foundation, can't cure her injury. Lin Luoran is even less confident. With her Reiki, which hasn't reached the completion of the level of training Qi? Don't be ridiculous. If it weren't for the mysterious power of the bead, she wouldn't have been able to save Baojia. Lin Luoran puts down the cup of tea and says, "Seniors, I have brought the Emerald Girl here." But about Grandpa Gua's injury, Grandpa Gua waves his hand and says, "It's already a great favor for me that you are willing to give me such a precious thing. How can I let you take all the blame for my injury? Grandpa Mu and the others have their eyes on the master behind you. Though their motive is not pure, they are doing it for my sake. Miss Lin, please don't mind them. Mu Tianan is as embarrassed as Grandpa Mu. It seems that they are indeed grandfather and grandson. Lin Luoran is not surprised that they are scheming against each other. Lin Luoran is not a rich girl who grew up in a honeypot. She never believes in love and hate for no reason in this world. Mu Tiannan's sudden change of attitude is a problem. If Lin Luoran really has a mysterious master, she can totally ignore the special department and the Mu family's request for help. As the saying goes, one powerful person can defeat 10 people. In front of absolute power, these forces are nothing. Lin Luoran is only willing to help them because she is in a good mood. However, only Lin Luoran knows that she doesn't have a master who is so powerful that these people are afraid of her. Therefore, before her strength grows to a certain level, she has to occasionally reveal that her master is a good thing in today's cultivation world. She doesn't want to get too close to it, but she doesn't want to avoid it to make people suspicious. She must confirm that she really has a so-called master. Therefore, hearing Grandpa Gu's words, Lin Luoran doesn't take all the blame for his injury. Instead, she takes the initiative to change the topic. I think the fragrant hill is beautiful and full of Reiki. It is a good place for cultivation in the mortal world. The Mu family really chose a good place. Hearing that Lin Luoran changes the topic, Grandpa Mu says, Lin Luoran, this is your first time here. Why don't you show us around the mountain? Looking at the scenery is better than sitting. Lin Luoran readily agrees. Mu Tianan purses his lips. What about me? Grandpa Mu glares at Mu Tianan, and his sage-like demeanor is gone. Mu Tianan doesn't dare to say anything and leaves with the teacup. Master Gua stands up first. We're much older than you. We don't mind calling you Little Lin. What do you think? Lin Luoran stands up quickly and says, Mr. Gua, you are too kind. It's just a matter of address. Why not? Even if the cultivation of these two people was higher than her, they were the only known high-level existences in Huaxia. Even if they were older than her, the problem of how to address them was really a small matter. The three of them walk out of the cattail house and continue to walk along the path they came from. The yellow trees cover the sky. The entire fragrant mountain seems to be occupied by these trees, which will be red like flames in autumn. It is winter now, so the beautiful scenery of the red leaves on Fragrant Mountain is not here. However, there are thick fallen leaves on the ground. It is a special feeling to step on them. It is not bad. Seeing that Lin Luoran is interested in these ancient trees, Grandpa Mu explains, some of them were planted in the reign of Qianlong, and they are more than 200 years old. More than 200 years old? The trees have been flourishing for more than 200 years. What about Lin Luoran? After 200 years, will she successfully advance and explore a higher level of cultivation, or will she be trapped by the curse that people in Huaxia can only reach the level of laying foundation? Noticing that Lin Luoran suddenly looks gloomy, Grandpa Gua thinks for a while and says, Little Lin, you seem to be depressed. It is not easy for you to have such a high level of cultivation at such a young age. You should be young and proud. Why are you so depressed? Lin Luoran is 27 years old. Is it just a young age in the world of cultivation? Lin Luoran is ignorant about the path of cultivation and she doesn't even know a lot of common sense. Seeing that Grandpa Mu and Grandpa Mu are being kind, Lin Luoran thinks of an excuse to explain to this rookie cultivator. As you know, I am just an ordinary person in the secular world. I was lucky enough to step into the world of cultivation, but I don't know many taboos and common sense. According to Wen Guanjing, after 100 years of hard cultivation, I will become a skeleton in the wild. If I am lucky enough to reach the level of laying foundation, how long can I live? Lin Luoran's words refer to space. What Lin Luoran and Lin Luoran say proves their guess. Lin Luoran's so-called chance doesn't mean that she is chosen by a master, who cleanses her marrow with his own personal ability and makes her reach the completion of the level of training qi in one go. Grandpa Mu thinks highly of Lin Luoran's performance. However, Grandpa Mu and Grandpa Mu don't think that it is a problem that Lin Luoran doesn't know the common sense of the world of cultivation. Grandpa Mu doesn't answer Lin Luoran's question. Instead, he asks with a smile, "How old do you think I am?" Lin Luoran looks him up and down. Grandpa Mu looks healthy and energetic, just like Commander Qin. He seems to be in his 60s. Isn't he? Lin Luoran tells Grandpa Mu her opinion. Grandpa Mu and Grandpa Gua both laugh, not to mention Grandpa Mu. Cultivators in the level of training Qi can live up to 100 years old. Cultivators in the level of laying foundation can live up to 200 years old. Cultivators in the level of bearing essence can live up to 500 years old. Cultivators in the level of gathering essence can live up to 1,000 years old according to ancient books. Cultivators in the level of gathering essence can live up to 130 years old. Grandpa Mu laughs and points at Grandpa Gua. He is more careful than me. He is 127 years old. I am older than him. I just celebrated my 130th birthday last month. Over 100 years old? I can't see it at all. Not to mention that Master Gua is injured. Master Mu, who is more than 130 years old, seems to be much more vigorous than Mu Tianan. This is the difference between cultivators and ordinary people. 27 years old is indeed a very young age in the world of cultivation. Chapter 86. Seeing that Lin Luoran is relieved, Master Mu strokes his beard and smiles. I got your jade for free. If I don't give you something in return, I will have an inner demon in my cultivation. Girl Lin, you can have whatever you want. You can help me and I will have an inner demon in my heart. Lin Luoran doesn't know much about the inner demon. She doesn't know what Master Mu is talking about. She tilts her head and thinks for a while. I've learned a little spell of casting fireball recently, but I don't have a master to teach me. Can I ask you two masters? Lin Luoran has promised Wen Guanjing to go to the Knight of Bermuda, but she can't be one or two effective spells. Otherwise, her identity will be exposed, and her own safety will be the top priority. Lin Luoran and Master Gua look at each other. They seem to be surprised that her master doesn't teach her spells. Lin Luoran is anxious, but she doesn't show it. Lin Luoran knows that it's best to make up an excuse. However, a lie always needs more lies. Lin Luoran decides to take a gamble. If someone finds out, she can take her parents and Luodong to hide in the deep forest. She can come out when she is powerful enough. However, this is the worst plan after all. In fact, Master Mu and Master Gua are surprised not because Lin Luoran thinks that she is a paper tiger, but because her request is not equal to the value of the jade. Even in the declining cultivation world, the small spell to cast a fireball was a common skill that everyone had. It was not a very precious secret technique. On the contrary, the jade Lin Luoran takes out can be directly absorbed by the human body without being refined. Not to mention its effect on Master Gua's injury. If it can be used for a long time, the time saved for cultivation will be more than twice that of others. Master Mu ponders. Girl Lin, do you know how precious the jade you took out is? Lin Luoran is shocked. Is it very precious? It only takes her a few minutes to make a piece of Reiki jade. She doesn't know that it is precious in the eyes of Master Mu, a senior in the level of laying foundation. Thinking of Lin Luoran's short cultivation time, Master Mu realizes it. You've encountered a great opportunity, so you naturally haven't experienced the hardships of cultivation. Ever since the sharp decline of spiritual qi 1,000 years ago, even the remaining spiritual qi had become restless. When ordinary cultivators absorbed spiritual qi, they would have to spend 3 times as much time to refine it. Even though foundation establishment cultivators had a lifespan of 200 years, those with poor aptitudes would be dragged down by time during this extremely time-consuming cultivation and would have no chance of reaching foundation establishment. Also, because of the violent spiritual qi, the spiritual materials of heaven and earth have all changed their medicinal properties, so the previous pill recipes are no longer used. Medicinal pills, which can assist cultivators in their cultivation, have become extremely rare. That's why no one has advanced to the core formation stage ever since. You should know how precious this kind of spiritual qi jade, which can be directly absorbed by the human body, is. When Master Mu says no one has advanced to the core formation stage, he pauses for a second. He thinks of Lin Luoran's mysterious master. According to their speculation, her master must be a senior in the level of bearing essence. Seeing that Lin Luoran is listening carefully, Master Mu assumes that her master didn't tell her about the hardships of cultivation. It makes sense. The problem that bothers ordinary cultivators may not be worth mentioning in the eyes of her master, who has such a Reiki jade. Why would he tell her about it and affect her cultivation? Thinking of this, Master Mu stops the topic. Lin Luoran is secretly anxious. What she lacks most now is the knowledge of the current situation of the world of cultivation. Master Mu suddenly stops the topic, which makes Lin Luoran feel helpless. Master Gua takes out a booklet from his arms and hands it to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran sees the words, "Spells of the 5 Elements," on the yellowed page. Lin Luoran takes the booklet and reads it. She is flattered and can't believe that she just got the spell of the cultivator she has been longing for. Seeing her expression, Master Gua explains, "Don't be surprised. This is just an ordinary spell of the world of cultivation. If you like it, you can take a look and I'll give it to you." "Thank you, Master Gua." Lin Luoran's gratitude is sincere. Spells are ordinary for others, but for her, they are very precious. Especially when she turns to the first page, she finds that it is the fireball spell that Wen Guanjing once cast. Lin Luoran has practiced for a long time but failed to master it. Lin Luoran is even happier. Seeing that Lin Luoran is happy, Master Mu and Master Mu both praise her for her kindness in their hearts. It is just a basic spell. How can it make up for the kindness of prolonging her life? Master Mu has to give her something in return. However, it is really a problem what to give her so that the disciple of a senior in the level of bearing essence will like it. Seeing that Lin Luoran is happy, Master Mu temporarily forgets the thought of returning the gift. He makes 2 gestures with his right hand and 4 mounds of earth appear on the ground. Feeling the fluctuation of Reiki, Lin Luoran has no idea what Master Mu is going to do. She stares at Master Mu's gestures without blinking and releases her spiritual mind to feel the fluctuation of Reiki. After learning the failed spell of the fireball spell, Lin Luoran feels that she has neglected the fluctuation of Reiki when casting spells. This time, she will not let go of this opportunity. In a short time, the 4 mounds made by Master Mu gradually take shape. They are in the shape of a table and 3 chairs. In the eyes of ordinary people, it is like magic. However, Lin Luoran feels that the brown Reiki molecules on the ground are constantly moving. Looking at the clay table and stools, Lin Luoran suddenly realizes that the brown Reiki is obviously the Reiki molecules with the nature of earth. Master Mu, the earth is soft and wet. The stools are not suitable for people to sit on. Lin Luoran guesses that Master Mu has other tricks up his sleeves. Lin Luoran deliberately says ironic words to stimulate Master Mu so that he can have a sense of achievement. Lin Luoran has no problem to show him more spells and more free courses. Master Mu just smiles. Lin Luoran has lived for more than 100 years and her little tricks can never fool him. However, Master Mu thinks that Lin Luoran is a good junior, so he indulges himself and doesn't expose her tricks. Look carefully, Lass Lin. Master Mu's right hand changes its mudra. The speed of his mudra is extremely slow, but it is different from the Earth Table spell and Wen Guanjing's Fireball spell. Every movement of his fingers is like a sword fighting with a knife. Golden Reiki molecules respond to his mudra from the thin Reiki environment. Even Master Mu looks serious. He is not as relaxed as he was when he made the Earth Table spell. He shouts, "The spell is finished. Go." A golden light splits from his palm. The metal Reiki collides with the Earth Reiki that hasn't dissipated yet. Fierce sparks are produced. The soft and wet clay table and stools are on fire. Is Master Mu making these clay tables and stools? Looking at the dancing flames, Lin Luoran feels that her heart is pounding. She is 100% sure that Master Mu didn't use the fire Reiki. Then where did the flames come from? Master Gua coughs. He is not used to Master Mu trying to coax the little girl with the mysterious veil of spells at his age. After all, Lin Luoran is a junior cultivator. It is not kind of him. Chapter 87. Grandpa Mu doesn't care at all. Instead, he explains to Lin Luoran, your master might have told you that the nature of the Taoist root determines the magic weapons one can use and the spells one can cast. However, there are 5 elements in the world, and they reinforce and restrain each other. As long as you can successfully lay foundation, you can make use of the principle of the mutual promotion of the 5 elements to make some interesting changes. Take me for example. I have the nature of gold and earth, but I can use the collision of gold and earth to trigger a trace of fire Reiki to cast the spell. Don't look at this extra bit, it can sometimes save your life. Does the Taoist root determine the spells one can cast? Lin Luoran hears Grandpa Mu's words and keeps them in mind. The Reiki inside her is originally chaotic and has no nature. When she starts to learn the fireball spell, a trace of fire Reiki comes out. Most of the chaotic Reiki is left. Is Grandpa Mu waiting for her to open the door of the 5 elements? What is the nature of her Taoist root? Lin Luoran has questions in her mind. Thinking of the 36 gestures that she knows by heart, she unconsciously makes gestures with her right hand. Because she has been practicing for a long time, her speed is not bad. After a while, the gestures are overlapping. She is about to finish the spell. If she finishes like this, she will definitely fail like before. 36 hand gestures are about to be made. Lin Luoran is at a loss. Master Gui shouts, inject your own Reiki into the hand gestures and trigger the response of the Reiki of the fire. Lin Luoran has thought that she will fail this time. Hearing Grandpa Gui's words, she has an idea and her body makes an instinctive response. The fire Reiki lurking in her body seems to be summoned. The fire Reiki rushes all the way to her right hand and flows between her 5 fingers. When the 35th mudra is finished, Lin Luoran can clearly feel that the fire Reiki molecules are gathering together. When the 36th mudra is finished, Lin Luoran looks at her right fingertip. There's a ball of fire dancing. Did she make the fireball spell? Lin Luoran is overjoyed, but she doesn't get carried away. She disperses the handprint and the dancing fireball disappears. Lin Luoran closes her eyes to feel the feeling of blending with the fire Reiki. The 2 elders are surprised by her ability of understanding. She doesn't even know how to use Reiki when casting spells. They know that she is indeed a new scholar, but can a new scholar really understand what Grandpa Gui just says? Those smooth hand seals were clearly the nimble fingers that were naturally suited for spells. Lin Luoran is an ordinary person. Though there are masters who purify her marrow, it has something to do with her talent. Does she have the Taoist root of fire, which is rarely seen in 100 years? Lin Luoran's parents see that it's easy for her to cast the fireball spell and she is accepted by a senior of bearing essence. They both think that Lin is a rare genius with only one nature. Of course, Lin Luoran is immersed in the feeling of her first success in casting spells. She has no idea about this wonderful misunderstanding. When she opened her eyes again, the 2 elders had found 3 cups of steaming tea from somewhere. They were sitting on the stools that were made by magic and nodded at her. Lin Luoran sits down and takes a sip of the tea. The fresh aroma of the tea is refreshing. The quality of tea is really suitable for cultivators. Lin Luoran has the booklet of spells of the 5 elements in her arms and she knows the key points of casting spells. She is not in a hurry to study now. Not everyone can have the opportunity to drink tea with a senior in the level of laying foundation. What's the harm of having fun for a while? However, Lin Luoran is born to be a spinning top. Just when she is listening to Grandpa Mu talking about their understanding of cultivation, Lin Luoran's cell phone rings at the wrong time. It is a strange number. Lin Luoran picks up the phone and listens to the conversation on the other end. She smiles at first and then her smile spreads all over her face. After she hangs up the phone, Grandpa Mu asks her why she is so happy. Lin Luoran's eyes are filled with tears. I'm sorry. It's my good friend. She has just woken up. Lin Luoran's good friend, Qin Baojia, has undoubtedly become famous after this incident. At least Grandpa Gui and Grandpa Mu look at each other and instantly understand who Lin Luoran is talking about. In that case, Lin Luoran should go back first. Although it is a rare chance, Lin Luoran values her family and friends the most. She apologizes to Grandpa Gua and leaves the mountain first. Mu Tianin comes out of nowhere from the dense forest. Grandpa Mu stares at him and smiles. Why don't you see her off? Mu Tianin smiles. I have arranged it. Grandpa, I also want to cultivate. Just say yes. Grandpa Gua frowns. Something flashes in Grandpa Mu's eyes. You little brat, I have set a rule in the family. Cultivation is getting more and more difficult. The Mu family can't hang on to one tree. Since you have given the opportunity to Mu Tianen, why are you talking about cultivation now? Mu Tianen says shamelessly, I regret it again. At worst, I don't want the money from the family. Can you just teach me cultivation? Grandpa Mu shakes his head. Mu Tianen stomps his feet and runs away. He disappears in the forest. Grandpa Gua coughs again and says, You should have told him the truth earlier. Why do you want him to blame you? Grandpa Mu smiles bitterly. My grandson looks like a fool. You have watched him grow up. You know he is the most arrogant person in his bones. If I told him the truth, who knows what he would do based on his stubbornness? I don't want him to blame me for the rest of his life. As long as he is safe for the rest of his life. Safe for the rest of his life? Grandpa Gua sighs. He is not sure whether this is what Mu Tianen wants or not. Come to think of it, what should I give to little Lin? Grandpa Gua's question confuses Grandpa Mu. Yes, what should he send to make the relationship between them closer? Lin Luoran jumps out of the car sent by the Mu family and runs to the Qin's villa. Aunt Huang opens the door for her and her face is full of joy. They are all upstairs. Miss Lin, please go upstairs. Lin Luoran nods to Aunt Huang and goes upstairs. The door of Baojia's room is unlocked. Commander Qin, Lu Jing, and Lu Sanchun are all there. Lin Luoran looks around and sees a white figure standing in front of the window. Standing in front of the window in white pajamas, Baojia feels like a fairy when the breeze blows. Seeing is believing. Lin Luoran looks at the familiar figure and finally believes that Baojia is fine. Lin Luoran's eyes are blurred with tears. Baojia turns around and stares at her for a while. Then she rushes to her. Hey! Did you secretly eat tomatoes in my room last night? Chapter 88. Bermuda Islands in the North Atlantic Ocean is an autonomous overseas territory of the United Kingdom. It relies on finance and tourism and is known as a tax haven and company haven. It is a world-famous offshore financial center. It is 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a direct flight from Huaxia to Hamilton in Bermuda. A group of yellow-skinned Asians walk out of the airport. Though they move fast, they still attract a lot of passers-by. There are about a dozen men and women. They are all tall and slender. Half of their faces can be seen under the sunglasses. They are all good-looking. 2 foreign men carrying big bags are surprised. Mike, is this a model team from Asia? Is there a show in Hamilton? Look at the beauty leading them. Lin Luoran's sunglasses cover most of her face. However, her temperament is as sharp as an unsheathed sword. In the eyes of foreigners, Lin Luoran is like a tall, big-mouthed beauty in Europe and the United States. Lin Luoran's temperament melts the aesthetic difference between the East and the West. Cultivators can easily understand simple English as long as they try to learn it. Therefore, the conversation between the 2 backpackers is heard by the team. When Guanjing looks ordinary, in the eyes of foreigners, he is an Asian. He is not wearing sunglasses. Glancing at Lin Luoran, who is walking in front of him, he can't even tease her. Of course, they have already arranged some cars. There are several inconspicuous business cars with the sign of Expedition Team. In Bermuda, which is a tourist paradise full of luxury cars, these cars can only be regarded as ordinary cars. Huaxia people are indeed moderate. Lin Luoran bends down and sits in the passenger seat. Then she takes off her sunglasses. Some of them are young talents in the cultivation world of Huaxia. However, they are timid in front of Lin Luoran. They push each other and don't dare to sit in the same car with her. When Guanjing touches his nose and sits in the back seat, the driver finally starts the car. Brother Wen, I heard that Huaxia is not the only one participating in this mission. Lin Luoran sees Wen Guanjing sitting still in the rearview mirror. She doesn't know whether it is a good idea or not. Since these temporary teammates know that she has met Master Gua and Master Mu, they all want to talk to her but dare not to disturb her. Lin Luoran has to re-evaluate the status of Master Mu and Master Mu in the cultivation world of Huaxia. However, this trip to Bermuda is not a sure thing. Lin Luoran doesn't want her teammates to be afraid or disdainful of her. A harmonious team relationship is the most likely way to save their lives. When Guanjing adjusts his mentality, hearing that Lin Luoran is only about to complete the level of training Qi, Wen Guanjing sighs. Different people have different fates. He used to be the most powerful cultivator among the new generation of cultivators in the state of Huaxia, but he is easily defeated by this girl, who has only been cultivating for a few months and has been defeated by a master cultivator. Wen Guanjing is upset at first. However, after hearing Master Mu and Master Gua's comments about Lin Luoran, Wen Guanjing knows that Lin Luoran is not only talented, but also has a good character. Wen Guanjing's dilemma turns into an epiphany. Maybe Lin Luoran, who can stand up for Immortal, is different from them? Thinking of these thoughts, Wen Guanjing gives Lin Luoran an answer quickly. Yes, the US, the UK, Europe and Japan. There are more than 10 countries in total. Lin Luoran doesn't say anything. Instead, she closes her eyes to rest in the passenger seat. Of course, if you have good eyesight, you can see that Lin Luoran is stroking a beautiful blue double-headed phoenix hairpin in her right hand. As Lin Luoran fiddles with it, there is a trace of blue luster flowing on the hairpin, which can easily be ignored by the naked eye under the sunlight. It is different from before. This phoenix hairpin seems to be unlocked, and it is no longer an ordinary hairpin. Wen Guanjing feels the fluctuation of Reiki in Lin Luoran's hands all the way. This is also one of the reasons why the outstanding cultivators dare not to get close to Lin Luoran. It is said that the hairpin is a spirit weapon, and no one knows how powerful it is. It is better not to mess with the disciple of a master. In such a depressing atmosphere, Lin Luoran's cell phone suddenly rings. Luoran, have you arrived there? Bao Jia's energetic voice comes from the other end of the phone. Lin Luoran is very happy every time she hears Bao Jia's voice. People always cherish what they almost lose. Bao Jia was seriously injured a few days ago, and Lin Luoran feels lucky that her friend got a blessing in disguise. Lin Luoran's cold temperament fades a little. She smiles. I just got off the plane. How about you? Have you met my parents? I took Mr. and Mrs. Lin to the villa at the back of the mountain in the Qingqing city. Luodong is also there. You can do whatever you want in Bermuda with him. Bao Jia pauses for a while. It seems that she is going to ask Mr. and Mrs. Lin to talk to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran vaguely hears her parents saying that international calls are too expensive. Only Luodong takes the phone and calls Lin Luoran sister. Lin Luoran can feel the longing of her family from a long distance. The night of Bermuda begins in advance, so Lin Luoran has no time to spare. Since Bao Jia's accident, Lin Luoran has not been home yet. Lin Luoran says something to Bao Jia and then hangs up. Mr. and Mrs. Lin can't change their temperament in a short time. Lin Luoran calls to reassure both of them. She can only do this much without actually meeting them. The villa in the Qingqing city that Bao Jia mentioned is a gift from Master Mu and Master Gua. Lin Luoran has never seen it herself. Lin Luoran will accept the gift as a thank you gift for the jade. The house is not the most important thing. It is said that the current schoolmaster of the Qingqing city is also a cultivator, a good friend of Mr. and Mrs. Lin. He is also a senior in the level of laying foundation. Lin Luoran is not afraid of Ellie, but she is worried that the Zhou family will trace it back to her. Although this matter has been suppressed by the special department, the Zhou family may do something behind the scenes. After all, the Zhou family is a family of officials in the capital. It is really easy for them to find trouble with the Lin family. Now, Lin Luoran lets her parents and Luodong live in the villa in the Qingqing city, which is much safer. Lin Luoran feels the ability of a cultivator and the spells of the 5 elements become more and more real recently. Chapter 89. Lin Luoran and her companions stay in a famous 5-star chain hotel, which has nothing to do with public expense reimbursement. After all, they are all cultivators. Not to mention the support of their families, they occasionally humbly take on some side jobs. Booking a room in such a hotel all year round is just a drop in the bucket. If the young cultivators in this group are all outstanding like a group of elegant white cranes, Lin Luoran is even more outstanding like the red-crowned crane in this group of white cranes. Pushing open the revolving door, they see the clean and grand lobby of the hotel. The check-in procedure is already done. Lin Luoran and her friends just need to check in. In the corner of the lobby, there is a man and a woman who have been staring at Lin Luoran and her friends since they come in. Their eyes are shining with greed. The woman has wavy chestnut-colored hair. Her eyes are also chestnut-colored. Her nose is high and her skin is flawless. Unlike many foreign beauties who are only suitable to be looked at from a distance. Generally speaking, this woman is a European beauty. Dana, she is my cup of tea. She is such an exquisite Oriental beauty. The chestnut-haired Caucasian beauty said to her companion as the amber liquid swirled in the goblet. Her eyes flashed with greed and a trace of possessiveness. Appreciating beauty was an innate human instinct, but very few people would want to possess someone or something for the first time they saw it. This chestnut-haired Caucasian beauty was obviously not an easy target to get along with. The man called Dana had slightly curly hair, a fair face, and a slender figure. The fine details on his cuffs and lapels made him look like a European nobleman. One could not be called a nobleman just because he was handsome and well-dressed. Instead, he should be like Dana, who gave people a feeling of being rich just by sitting casually. There is appreciation and greed in his eyes. Obviously, he is more rational than the woman with chestnut-colored hair. Crystal, are you out of your mind because you haven't been out for a long time? Look at the man beside her. Crystal raises her eyebrows. She sees Wen Guanjing behind Lin Luoran and says disapprovingly, "Is that St? I can't believe that you were defeated by such an ordinary-looking man." His sore spot was touched, but Dana only curved his eyes and took a sip of the wine in his glass. He did not lose his temper and behaved like a gentleman. Of course, if you look closely, you can see that he is looking at Crystal coldly. This man was called the Butcher by the superpower circle in Europe. It was not a shameful thing for the arrogant Dana to lose to him. If Crystal insists on having a try, Dana has no intention of stopping her. Crystal has always been so arrogant because of her bloodline. As soon as Lin Luoran enters the hall, she feels that two people are staring at her, which makes her very uncomfortable. Before stepping into the elevator, Lin Luoran follows the feeling and sees a foreign woman with long chestnut-colored hair sitting in the corner of the hall. The woman is raising her glass to Lin. Lin Luoran has an illusion that she is being flirted with by a woman of the same sex. This makes Lin Luoran very unhappy. Noticing Lin's hesitation, Wen Guanjing looks in the direction she is looking at. He sees another old acquaintance, Dana, and he snorts. Lin Luoran raises her eyebrows. What? Do you know them? Wen Guanjing doesn't take it seriously at all. They are two little fleas. I guess they are the representatives of the UK. Speaking of fleas, Wen Guanjing's expressionless face shows that the two people are not as relaxed as he says. The moment the elevator door closes, Lin Luoran casts a spell with her right hand. A small fireball gathers on her fingertip and shoots out quickly and quietly. It is not noticeable under the golden light of the hall. Crystal steps back and the fireball hits the wine glass in her hand. Bang! The wine splashes and Dana dodges like a ghost. Crystal doesn't expect that the fireball is aimed at the wine glass in her hand. She can't dodge it and the wine splashes all over her face. The elevator door is closed. Crystal stands there. Her haute couture dress is stained with wine, which attracts all kinds of guests in and out of the hotel. For people of her family who always pay attention to their image, this is more shameful than getting hurt. Crystal's face is pale and there is no anger on her face. However, there is danger in her eyes. Seeing that his friend is being teased, Dana hands a handkerchief to Crystal. He smiles and says, "What are you talking about? Is this what people in the state of Huaxia call A show of strength? Crystal stares at him and smiles instead of being angry. I haven't seen such a beautiful woman for a long time. She is mine. She licks her sexy red lips. Apart from being sexy, she is also seductive and frightening. The elevator keeps going up. Many people can't resist the temptation of looking down from a bird's eye view. Therefore, most of the suites are on the top floor, which is a good arrangement for the customers. Lin Luoran is not reckless, but she has never been a pushover. It is normal for her to give an appropriate warning to those who speak disrespectfully. Lin Luoran's move is fast and stealthy. Among all the people here, only Wen Guanjing is aware of Lin Luoran's action. On the way up, Lin Luoran notices that Wen Guanjing is hesitating to say something. She says in a low voice, "He is not one of us. He will be our opponent sooner or later in the Night of Bermuda. Now he is just an appetizer. Brother Wen, don't worry." Wen Guanjing, whose nickname is ST, certainly doesn't care about this. Lin Luoran is more or less their secret weapon. Wen Guanjing is just worried that Lin Luoran will expose her strength in advance so that her opponent will be prepared. Hearing Lin Luoran's words, Wen agrees. It will happen in a few days anyway. If they really turn against each other, they will have to rely on their strength. What's the point of hiding it? Wen Guanjing stops talking. They go to the top floor and make an appointment to meet in the dining room after washing up. Lin Luoran swipes her room card and opens the door. Lin Luoran is very satisfied with the simple but expensive decoration and the refreshing and pleasant style of the room. What is more beautiful is the beautiful view of the sea outside the floor-to-ceiling window. Lin Luoran can see the beautiful girls in bikinis sunbathing on the beach in the distance. The blue waves are getting bigger and bigger, and the skateboarders are moving up and down with the waves. If it weren't for this mission, this would be a nice resort. Chapter 90. There are many wonders in the world around 30 degrees north latitude. The Black Triangle of Bermuda is one of them. In a small meeting room, Wen Guanjing draws a large area of the sea on the projector screen with the infrared light in his hand. It stops at the Bermuda Delta area. Every one of us may have heard of the Black Triangle of Bermuda. It is called the black hole of the Earth. Ships sink, people go missing, and planes crash all year round. This is our destination this time. After saying that, Wen Guanjing looks around. Because of his solemn tone, people in the seats listen to him carefully. Brother Wen, I've heard about it too. However, there is another saying that most of these disappearances are fabricated. Is it true that the frequency of accidents in the Black Triangle is actually lower than that in other dangerous waters? The one speaking is another girl in the group besides Lin Luoran. She is wearing a long dress that looks like a palace dress of the Tang dynasty. She has a standard oval face and big eyes. She is round and lovely. She looks like a lady in the Tang dynasty. It seems that this girl is popular in the team. Hearing her words, Wen Guanjing can't help but smile. Junior sister apprentice Li, these textual evidences are all official statements. In fact, in the past 2 years, as the opening time of Bermuda Night approaches, the number of ship accidents in Black Triangle has increased a lot. Junior sister Li's oval face blushed, as if embarrassed that she had asked such an idiotic question. Lin Luoran lowers her head and says nothing. Official statements, no wonder so many forces are involved. Obviously, this is the result of a unified statement. So what does Bermuda Night refer to? Wen Guanjing doesn't know what Lin is thinking, but he still says, these are all superficial information. In fact, there is a secret land hidden at the bottom of the delta. It is specially prepared for cultivators. Secret land. Lin Luoran rolls her eyes. It is exactly what she thought at the beginning. When Wen Guanjing said that they can keep whatever they find, Lin Luoran has suspected that the so-called Night of Bermuda is a treasure-hunting mission of the cultivation world. Secret land? Sister Li's eyes light up. Brother, are there treasures in it? When Guanjing nods, there are not only treasures, but also opportunities to lay foundation. All the seniors in Huaxia who are able to lay foundation obtained opportunities in the Bermuda Night last time. After that, they cultivated hard and advanced. Could it be a foundation establishment opportunity? This time, not only Sister Lee, but also many male teammates hold their breath. Some of them know about the Knight of Bermuda, but it is the first time that when Guanjing confirms the fact that he can lay foundation. Junior Marshal Sister Lee said in surprise, "A fated chance for foundation building." Senior Marshal Brother Wen, could it be? Lin Luoran is also interested. Don't they say that she is only one step away from the completion of the level of training Qi? Does it mean that she has chosen the best time to come here? When Guanjing is also looking at her. Seeing that she is more interested than before, when Guanjing smiles and says, "Sister Lee is right. The opportunity to lay foundation is naturally the foundation-laying bolus. Foundation building pill." Junior Marshal Sister Lee covers her mouth, but she can't hide the joy in her eyes. Lin Luoran is a bit disappointed. She thought that the so-called fated chance is some kind of spell, but it turns out that it is the foundation-laying bolus. Why are these people so excited? Isn't foundation-laying bolus a common thing in novels? Is it difficult to make foundation-laying bolus? Lin Luoran frowns. She is counting on growing herbs in the space so that she can make bolus in the future. Everyone looks at her as if she is an idiot. When Guanjing coughs and says, "Sister Lin, since the Reiki in the world became restless, many spirit herbs have been destroyed. Besides, the formula of foundation-laying bolus has been lost. It is impossible to make foundation-laying bolus now. In the world of cultivation, strength is the most important thing. Except for those who are related by blood or in the same school, seniority is determined by the growth of strength." When Guanjing calls Lin Luoran sister, which is another reason why everyone dares not to approach Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is not used to it, but she insists, "Brother Wen, let's just call each other our own. What about the lost formula of foundation-laying bolus?" This is another story in the world of cultivation. If you are interested, how about I tell you in private? Everyone's attention is on the secret land of Bermuda. Lin Luoran is sensible enough. Since when Guanjing doesn't intend to hide it from her, it doesn't matter if she tells him earlier or later. However, when Guanjing insists on calling her sister, he is so stubborn. If she can find the formula of foundation-laying bolus, Lin Luoran won't be so worried about the foundation-laying bolus that when Guanjing talks about, "Brother Wen, since there is a chance to get foundation-laying bolus in the secret land, why don't more people from our department go there?" Lin Luoran has noticed that although when Guanjing said that this is a very important mission, only young cultivators from the world of cultivation from the state of Huaxia come. Including her, there are only 10 people. Obviously, there is a reason. When Guanjing smiles bitterly, the secret land is very strange. Only cultivators in the level of training Qi can enter. There are not only foundation-laying bolus for cultivators from the state of Huaxia, but also secret medicines for foreign cultivators. After years of negotiation, only 10 people from the state of Huaxia are allowed to enter the secret land. Sister Lee covers her mouth and smiles, "Then there is no other way. We have to go in and get 2 more boluses." When Guanjing turns off the projector, Sister Lee, Reiki in the secret land is a world of its own. In addition to elixirs and spirit herbs, there are also many monsters that can only be killed by a group of people. Otherwise, the secret land wouldn't attract so many people. However, the most dangerous thing is not the monsters, but the cultivators who are not of our own kind. Last time when the secret land was opened, 25 cultivators in the level of training Qi from the state of Huaxia entered the secret land, but only 5 came out alive. Before that, the 8-nation coalition army invaded the state of Huaxia. You know how those cultivators died. Lin Luoran is thinking. According to Wen Guanjing, all the cultivators who died of monsters were killed by foreign cultivators? Why does it sound so strange? Lin Luoran lowers her head to hide her emotions. The situation inside depends on the mouth of the people who come out. Those who want to kill people because of treasures may not be foreign cultivators. It seems that she has to be careful. But wait, what did Wen Guanjing say just now? Only cultivators in the level of training Qi can enter the secret land. Was he lying to her when he said that he would ask her, "Master," for help? Chapter 91. The moonlight shines on the surface of the sea. The waves are moving up and down, making the water sparkling. A big white cruise ship stops in the middle of the sea. The ship looks hazy and magnificent under the moonlight. In the dim moonlight, Lin can see that there are more than 100 people standing on the deck. The difference in skin color and hair indicates that they are from different countries and places. It's past 1 o'clock in the morning, but the people on the deck are not sleepy at all. They are all quietly staring at the slightly calm sea. To be honest, it's hard to tell that the sea area within 100 miles belongs to the Bermuda Delta just by looking at the situation. Lin Luoran is standing behind Wen Guanjing. Li Shio whispers, "Sister Lin, look at the atmosphere. It's like a horror movie." She pouts and moves closer to Lin Luoran. Hearing this, Lin Luoran is speechless. It has only been 1 day and Li Shio has been following Lin Luoran all day long, calling her Sister Lin, and asking her all kinds of questions. She is very interested in everything about Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran is speechless that Li Shio can say something like this in such a serious atmosphere. However, as a Huaxiao woman, Lin shakes her head and reminds Li to wait patiently. Seeing that some people are looking at them, Li Shio is a little embarrassed. She sticks out her tongue and finally calms down. Lin Luoran doesn't find it hard to wait. She is very patient in front of such a big event. Except for the fact that Crystal is staring at Lin Luoran from afar, which makes Lin Luoran feel very uncomfortable. Otherwise, it is a rare experience to feel the sea breeze in the night. Especially in the vast sea, there is a huge amount of water reiki that is incomparable to anywhere else. Li Shio also calms down. Lin Luoran can finally calm down and absorb reiki. It is like putting the bead into a pot of boiling oil. Instead of absorbing reiki crazily, the bead melts itself into the oil and absorbs the water reiki quietly. Lin Luoran has the potential to make a fortune by robbing others. The bead is the oriole while Lin Luoran is the mantis. The restless water reiki is like a pot of boiling oil. The bead works hard to convert the reiki from the middle tower bridge. Most of the reiki in the bead benefits itself and the plants in the space. Lin Luoran can absorb a little bit of the reiki, which is more than enough for her. The strange thing is that when Lin Luoran was practicing the fireball spell, the reiki inside her changed. The chaotic reiki was separated from the fire reiki. Later, she practiced according to the spells of the 5 elements, taught by Grandpa Gua. It was very easy for her to learn spells. Her chaotic reiki can also cast spells of the other 4 natures, and the reiki inside her body is no longer separated. Lin Luoran is not sure whether this is a good thing or not. She decides to think about the difference after the incident in the secret land of Bermuda is over. The abundant reiki here makes Lin Luoran feel so comfortable that she wants to stretch and yawn. While everyone is waiting, Lin Luoran is seizing the time to cultivate. She is getting better and better. After a long time, she feels someone is pushing her. Lin Luoran opens her eyes and sees Li Shio. "Senior Sister Lin, look." This time, Li Shio is not bothering Lin Luoran because she is bored. At this time, the moon is about to rise to the highest point in the sky. White fog rises on the calm sea and the waves are rolling. The huge cruise ship is like a small boat, rising and falling with the tide. It's almost time. When Guanjing, who is standing in front of Lin Luoran, takes out a brocade box the size of a palm and looks solemn. When Guanjing is not the only one who does the same thing. Almost every country here has a representative who takes out the same brocade box. They all look serious. At this moment, they have to sit down and talk about their own affairs. It feels like a world summit. The white fog on the sea is getting thicker and thicker. The moon finally rises to the highest point in the sky. When Guanjing takes the lead and the others open the brocade boxes one by one. When the moonlight shines down, small balls of light rise from the boxes. Lin Luoran looks at them and finds that these balls of light are jade pieces of the same size. The jade pieces rise slowly and fly to the sky above the sea. The 12 jade pieces are flying up and down as if they are looking for something. The cruise ship starts again and follows the direction of the jade pieces carefully. After another 2 miles, The jade pieces slow down and begin to spin slowly above the sea. The automatic navigation function of the jade pieces makes people who see this scene for the first time unable to take their eyes off it. When the jade pieces finally stop, everyone holds their breath and looks at the scene in front of them. The sea under the jade pieces seems to be lit up. 12 red and white beams of light rise up one by one. If the sea is not covered by the thick fog, it will definitely attract the attention of the ships in the distance. According to common sense, the pillar of light should have no force, but at this moment, it was supporting 12 pieces of jade, allowing them to float in midair above the sea surface, slowly swimming along a predetermined path. When Guanjing knows a lot about the secret land, but he has never seen the magnificent scene when it opens. In this era when spells are declining, how can people not be fascinated by such a magnificent scene? Li Shi can't help but pull Lin's sleeve. The 12 light beams are getting brighter and brighter. The white fog can block the light beams but not the moonlight. It is common sense that the moon is bright and the stars are sparse. Tonight, the moon is round and bright, and the stars are all over the sky. As the light beams move, some stars in the distant sky finally react and shoot light at the 12 light beams. Lin Luoran can see all this clearly with her clear eyes. The secret land opens once every 100 years. Is it taking advantage of the celestial phenomenon that only happens once in 100 years? Or is it taking advantage of the power of stars? What happens next is too much for Lin to think. The light beams receive the power of moonlight and stars. The jade pieces shoot straight light beams at each other and intertwine with each other. A special big net is formed between the light beams. Gradually, the net becomes a big disc with a radius of about 100 square meters. At first, it shakes a few times, but as time goes by, it stabilizes quickly. Is this an altar? A portal? Both of them are very reliable. Li Shi holds Lin's sleeve tightly. Her eyes are shining like a little girl seeing a piece of jewelry. Lin Luoran, on the other hand, looks at the 12 jade pieces thoughtfully. Seeing that the platform is formed, Wen Guanjing breathes a sigh of relief. He looks at the representatives of other countries and they all wave their hands. The jade pieces on the light beam fly back to them. Wen Guanjing treasures them so much that he locks them in the small brocade box and puts them away in a blink of an eye. Even Lin Luoran can't see where he has hidden them. Let's go. We can go up now. Chapter 92. When Guanjing says that they can get on the platform, but the cruise ship is not connected to the platform. Maybe for some reason, the cruise ship can't get too close to the platform. There is a distance of 400 to 500 meters between the cruise ship and the platform. How can they get on the platform without a place to land? This may be the first time for them to show their strength. The advantage of the tall and strong Russian team was in close combat. This kind of harsh lightness, kung fu was simply a sore spot for them. Very shamefully, they threw a few large wooden boards on the water as a springboard. They only jumped up one by one when they reached the high platform, causing a lot of people to snicker. The Japanese who were wearing wooden clogs had also learned some chi cultivation techniques. Using the strange spells that they had modified, the process of getting onto the stage was relatively smooth. However, one of them was obviously not good enough and almost fell into the sea. As for the people from the Vatican, their bodies seemed to have received some kind of blessing as they chanted. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, divine light descended from the heavens and bathed in the light. However, the action of a person who looked like a red-robed archbishop wiping his sweat on the high platform told the crowd that the priests were not as relaxed as they seemed. The countries are still doing their best. After a while, there are only the cultivators of the state of Huaxia and Crystal's team left on the deck. Although the Tao of nature is in chaos and cultivators from other countries are affected, they are not as direct as the cultivators of the state of Huaxia. The source of their cultivation is not limited to Reiki. If it weren't for the unpredictable spells, the cultivation world of the state of Huaxia wouldn't be able to maintain its current scale. They don't know what dangers are waiting for them in the secret land, but now is not the time to waste Reiki. They don't care about their own reputation, but they are representing the entire state of Huaxia. When Guanjing takes out a small sword with gold tassels and murmurs, As he injects Reiki into it, the small sword expands and becomes a huge sword floating in the air. When Guanjing jumps on the sword first, and the male cultivators of the state of Huaxia follow him, they stand on the huge sword. If everyone steps on the sword, they will look like flying swordsmen. However, at this moment, they look like buses with passengers. Lin Luoran tries not to laugh. She looks at the two seats that when Guanjing left for Lin Luoran and Li. Although everyone was squeezed on the same sword, this kind of flying method still made those foreign cultivators who had to rely on their own strength very envious. They couldn't help but cast envious gazes at the mysterious and unfathomable Huaxia magic. Seeing Li looking at her pitifully, Lin Luoran knows that Li is right. She doesn't want to take the bus. Lin Luoran sighs and makes a gesture with her right hand. The water Reiki around her gathers and she shouts, "The spell is over." A water column rises from the sea and builds a water bridge between the tanker and the platform. Wow! Sister Lin, you are so awesome. Li Shi's eyes almost turned into stars. Actually, even without her scream, everyone's eyes had already turned to look at them. The bridge is about 400 meters long and it is made of seawater. Under the light of the platform, the bridge is shining blue. Lin Luoran's move is gorgeous and magnificent. If she were a man, she would definitely be able to pick up girls with this move. When Guanjing knows that Lin Luoran is not a showy person, there is only one reason why Lin Luoran is attracting people's attention. This girl is not to be messed with. When Guanjing knows that Lin Luoran is not a person who likes to show off, he sighs in his heart and feels tired hanging in the air. He makes a spell of sword and drives his bus to the platform. "Why don't you go?" Lin Luoran asks and walks straight to the water bridge. Although she said she was walking, it was more like she was floating. The light and dignified feeling of her sleeves fluttering in the wind caused everyone present to hold their breaths, not daring to act rashly. Li Shi doesn't come to herself until Lin Luoran is halfway across the bridge. She catches up with Lin Luoran and sticks close to her carefully, as if she is afraid that the bridge will collapse. Crystal looks at Lin Luoran, who looks like a fairy under the moonlight. Dana gloats. This is the first time Lin Luoran has seen a female cultivator from the state of Huaxia. Lin Luoran is so powerful that Crystal can't touch her easily. Dana is glad that Lin Luoran can knock down the arrogant Crystal. Seeing that Lin Luoran and Li Shi are safe and sound, Crystal says to Dana, "In the state of Huaxia, take advantage of the east wind. Let's try this beautiful bridge." Lin Luoran is the leader of this trip, so the others agree. Dana has no choice but to follow Lin Luoran. Crystal's words have been passed to the platform by the sea breeze. Lin Luoran remains calm and waits for them to stand in front of the bridge. Lin Luoran casts a spell with her right hand and the magnificent water bridge disappears instantly. The water goes back to where it came from like a heavy rain. Crystal is so close to the bridge that her long hair is covered with water vapor. She looks so gloomy that even Dana has to walk around her quietly. From this direction, Lin Luoran and Li Shi are whispering in each other's ears. Nothing is wrong. However, Crystal is still emitting cold air. Dana says cautiously, "Let's go or the platform will be closed." Crystal nods and jumps off the deck of the tanker. When people on the platform think that she is going to fall into the sea, she glides on the water for a while like a big bird and then flies up again. She opens her arms and jumps onto the platform like a bat. She is standing far away from Lin Luoran and not in the same direction as the people of the Vatican. Lin Luoran doesn't like the look in Crystal's eyes. Besides, Lin Luoran is disgusted by the smell of blood on the people of the Vatican. Therefore, Lin Luoran has made it clear that she doesn't want to mess with them. She also hopes that they won't treat her as a pushover. Otherwise, Lin Luoran would never do such a humiliating thing in public. Li Shi says in a low voice, "Sister Lin, I don't like her either." Lin Luoran notices that Crystal is standing on the other side of the platform. Lin Luoran knows that Crystal can hear Li Shi's whisper. Lin Luoran tells Li Shi to stop talking about it. The people with her also use the same bat-like gliding posture to cross the sea. In terms of speed, they were actually the fastest team. They are very fast. Lin Luoran comments in her heart and reminds herself to stay away from them again. If they use this speed to attack her, she will have an advantage in close range. A transparent light dome rises from the edge of the platform and covers everyone on the platform. Lin Luoran suddenly has an absurd idea. This thing looks like an elevator, doesn't it? With a rumbling sound, the covered platform seems to be activated. The unknown is always full of uncertainty. Li Shi'er grabs Lin Luoran's cuff tightly. When Guanjing takes 2 steps forward, he doesn't seem to be looking sideways, but he says in a low voice, "The bloodline holds grudges? Be careful when you get in." The bloodline? Lin Luoran is not surprised. Maybe she has guessed it. She just doesn't want to admit it. Ever since she stepped on the path of cultivation, this normal world is destined to be a legend. Chapter 93. Lin Luoran thought that the platform was a transmission door. After all, it made such a big noise when it was opened. It would be strange if it didn't send them directly into the so-called secret land. However, the truth is very close to her speculation. It seems to be an elevator. They disappear from the surface of the sea. When they reappear, they are under the sea. The transparent light shield separated them from the seawater, and they were falling down in a straight line at a uniform speed. Through the transparent light shield, they could see the blue seawater outside the light shield. Groups of fish were swimming around, and some silly fish hit the shield and bounced off. It was a beautiful sight, and it was hilarious. "It's so beautiful," Li murmurs to herself. This time, no one blames her for talking too much. No matter which camp they are on, everyone will appreciate beauty in their hearts. The wonder of the sea undoubtedly satisfies many people's aesthetic needs. The style of the secret land is very oriental. However, the design of the underwater elevator is so romantic that it doesn't seem to be the work of the strict oriental cultivators. Lin Luoran looks at the cultivators from different countries. She suspects that this is a place of trial built by many forces a long time ago. As for the secret land that Wen Guanjing talked about, it doesn't matter whether it is a masterpiece of powerful cultivators or it is discovered by others. Lin Luoran thinks that it is not so important to know whether it is a masterpiece made by powerful cultivators or discovered by others. Lin Luoran looks at the cultivators from different countries. The light shield gets lower and lower. At first, they can see groups of fish playing outside the shield. Gradually, there are only some big fish. Now, there are only 2 or 3 big fish. Lin Luoran doesn't know how deep they have fallen. However, as the fish disappear, she can imagine that without the light shield, the huge sea pressure will crush them into meat paste. Lin Luoran is just making the conclusion that no living creatures can survive in such a deep sea. Suddenly, she sees a black shadow coming from the bottom of the sea. Everyone is alert. The shadow is huge and fast. Besides, the light shield is sinking, so it comes to the light shield in the blink of an eye. 2 light balls as big as bowls are very conspicuous in the deep sea. Its body is also as big as a hill. People's eyesight will be affected by it. When the black shadow comes to 100 meters away, Lin Luoran can see what it really is. It is a turtle. It bumped into us. Li Shi'er covered her eyes in surprise. Although the people here all had some ability, they had only heard about the secret territory from their ancestors and had never experienced it themselves. When they saw the obviously abnormal sea turtle crashing into them, they all broke out in a cold sweat. If the light shield broke, they were just a group of cultivators who had just entered the secret territory. Under the terrifying pressure of the sea, there was no way they could survive. Lin Luoran clenches her right hand. If the light dome really breaks, she will have to hide in the space immediately. As for Wen Guanjing and the others, maybe she has not mastered the space yet. Lin Luoran has tried, but she can't even bring a living thing into the space. She has to apologize to them. At this dangerous moment, the sea turtle suddenly braked to a stop. It had excellent control over its huge body, easily stopping 1 meter away from the light barrier. It seems to be thinking of the fish that bounced off the light dome. Lin Luoran wonders if the light dome is only visible from the inside. From the perspective of the sea turtle, the light dome looks the same as the surrounding seawater. The sea turtle is huge. Lin Luoran doesn't know how old it is. Aside from its huge eyes, Lin Luoran believes that it has a mind. Is it a monster? Even the bloodline has appeared, so it is not strange for a monster to show up. However, Brother Turtle, why are you staring at me? Lin Luoran subconsciously draws back her right hand. Lin Luoran is just an ordinary human. The only thing different about her is the mysterious bead on her wrist. Lin Luoran hopes that the sea turtle doesn't come for this. Because of the giant turtle's hesitation, the light shield passed by it and quickly sank to a deeper place. The giant turtle stayed in place and didn't move. Whether it was because of the sea pressure that it didn't chase after them or not, it seemed to be relatively safe now. Even though it's a false alarm, everyone doesn't relax. Instead, they become alert from enjoying the scenery. Lin Luoran is even more shocked. She has very good eyesight. She feels that when the turtle passed by the light dome, the turtle's eyes are very human-like. There are emotions like reluctance and pity in its eyes. This kind of farewell has troubled Lin Luoran for a long time. Let's not talk about it for the time being. The light dome continues to fall, and the bottom of the sea gets darker and darker. No one knows how deep it is. Gradually, only the transparent light dome can be seen, and the whole bottom of the sea is completely dark. Fortunately, after a shake, the light dome seems to fall to the ground. A burst of dazzling light flashes, so dazzling that people can't help but close their eyes. When Lin Luoran and others open their eyes again, in front of them is a long tunnel built on the bottom of the sea. Different from the transparent and empty light dome elevator, this tunnel has no end. An unknown material is used to support this tunnel, which is as high as 2 people at the bottom of the sea. It can withstand the pressure of 10,000 meters of water, and there are all kinds of flowers on both sides of the tunnel. In short, this is a road of flowers. On the top of the tunnel, there is a kind of glowing stone inlaid every few steps. If it were not for the irregular shape, Lin Luoran would think that it is the legendary luminous pearl. More importantly, the flowers on the side of the road are full of vitality and blooming. Well, even if there is nutritious sea mud under the bluestone tunnel, what about sunlight? Have plants evolved to the point where they don't need light anymore? The more Lin Luoran sees the means of cultivators, the more she feels that she is too cautious. She doesn't have a great imagination. However, this style is very luxurious and gorgeous. Maybe the designer of this section is a woman? Obviously, the leaders of the countries know more about this than others. They are all happy to see this flower path. They don't want to miss such a beautiful view, but they lead their people forward. The cultivators of the state of Huaxia are also in an uproar. When Guanjing follows them leisurely, a more reckless male cultivator says anxiously, "Brother Wen, the secret land only opens for a month. Shouldn't we hurry?" Li Shi'er purses her lips. "I have a plan. Don't worry." The opening time of the secret land has been discussed in the meeting in the hotel. No one knows when the secret land opened. It opens every 100 years and lasts for a month. If they don't come out after this time, they will encounter the monster tide. With the level of training Qi, they will have no chance to survive. Lin Luoran got this information from the jade slips left by the masters in the level of training Qi who died in the secret land. There are many doubtful points in the information, so Lin Luoran pays attention to it and doesn't show it. However, Lin Luoran is worried about this trip to the secret land. As the saying goes, don't be afraid of a tiger-like enemy, but be afraid of a pig-like teammate. Except for Wen Guanjing, who seems to have experienced many battles, what are the others doing here? Lin Luoran is thinking about whether she should tell them that she wants to be a lone ranger in the secret land. When the others are almost gone, Wen Guanjing takes out a palm-sized bag made of gold thread and hands it to Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran looks at the bag for a while and can't figure it out. Wen Guanjing doesn't usually smile, but he does smile this time. The secret land is vast and it's easy for us to get separated in an emergency. There is not only enough food for a month in this universal bag, but also a jade pendant that allows us to sense each other. Sense each other? This is not the point. The point is, what is this thing called? Universal bag? Is this the legendary storage bag? Lin Luoran has space, but she can't have too many good things, right? Lin Luoran thanks Wen Guanjing and takes the so-called universal bag from him. She can't help but look at it. Since the new list was updated on Friday night, the number of favorites has increased by 120. As a book with a female theme, Pa didn't expect this result. Thank you so much for your support. Chapter 94. The flower path looks long, but in fact, it is just a visual difference. With Li's chattering, it is not boring to walk along the path. Lin Luoran drips a drop of blood on it according to the spell taught by Wen Guanjing and imprints it with her spiritual mind. Although she doesn't have much time to refine it, people with the same level as Lin Luoran can't open it. Lin Luoran is disappointed after she opens it. The famous universal bag has only 1 cubic meter of space and most of it is occupied by high-energy compressed food. In another corner, there is a jade slip. Just like taking out the things in the bead, Lin Luoran controls it with her spiritual mind. She takes out the jade slip, and the next moment, it appears in her hand. There are 10 light spots on the jade slip, which are very close to each other. Lin Luoran looks up at Wen Guanjing, who nods to her. Sister Lin, this is the jade slip that can help us sense each other. As long as we are within a certain range, we can find each other. There is some information on the jade slip about the places where the ancestors found treasures. Maybe the spirit herbs were not mature enough, or they didn't have enough time to take them away. This time, we can check them one by one. Seeing that Lin Luoran is listening carefully, Wen Guanjing adds, the monsters are dormant this month, but we'd better not take them to the center of the mountain. It's dangerous and it's hard for us to come back. Lin Luoran nods. Time flies when they are talking. When Lin Luoran raises her head, they are already in front of a golden gate. She puts the jade slip away. The golden gate is just a few towering pillars. You have to look up to see the horizontal stone plaque. There are some tadpole-like characters on the plaque. It is impossible to guess what is written on the plaque. Lin Luoran and the other Chinese cultivators are nowhere to be seen. Obviously, the others have already entered the gate. There is a light curtain between the pillars, so people can't see what is behind the gate. Let's go. When Guanjing is about to say that they should hold each other's hands, but Li is very excited. She drags Lin Luoran through the light curtain first, when Guanjing can't hold Li's hand. He turns around and asks the others, didn't I tell you that we will end up in different places after going through the light curtain? Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads like a rattledrum. Before Lin Luoran realizes what is going on, she is pulled into the light curtain by Li Shi. As soon as she steps into the light curtain, she feels that she is falling. The wind blows her hair upside down. Lin Luoran subconsciously grabs Li Shi in front of her and tries to open her eyes against the resistance of the wind. Only then does she realize that they are falling. Beneath them was a bottomless cliff that was shrouded in clouds and mist. Li Shi finds it too. She screams, "Sister, help!" Ugh. She murmurs something and the universal sack shimmers. A white object appears beside Li Shi's hand. It turns out to be a transparent fish thread-like object with a bell at the end. Li Shi wonders what kind of artifact it is. How can it help Li Shi get rid of the rope? Li Shi bites her lips and moves her fingers. The fishing line stretches out and passes through the gap between the vine and Lin Luoran's body. Li Shi closes her fingers and the fishing line tightens automatically. The fishing line is very thin. No matter how strong the vine is, it is still a plant. The twisting force of the fishing line can break the vine. Li Shi struggles for a while and finally gets rid of the vine. Li Shi kisses the fishing line. She is about to laugh when she remembers that Lin Luoran fell into the abyss to save her. Li Shi grabs the fishing line and cries again, "It's all my fault. If I had remembered the bell earlier, you wouldn't have fallen. Maybe Little Bell is the name of the fishing line." Li Shi carefully moves to the terrace to check. After taking a few steps, a few pebbles roll down the cliff. There is no sound for a long time. Li Shi knows that she is still far from the bottom of the cliff. Is Sister Lin really okay? In Li Shier's mind, Wen Guanjing is very powerful, so Lin Luoran, who is called Sister Lin by Wen Guanjing, must be even more powerful. However, when you look down the deep abyss, you can only see clouds and mist. You have no idea whether Lin Luoran is alive or not. At this moment, Li Shi'er is in such a terrible situation that she can't even touch the sky or the ground. She curls up in the corner, holding her knees and crying her eyes out. Chapter 95. After pushing Li onto the stone terrace, Lin Luoran falls down like a kite with a broken string. Maybe Lin Luoran has run out of luck today, and she hasn't seen another terrace with such a good position. That is to say, she can't replicate the way she saved Li. It was also the first time for her to see such a scene. It would be a lie to say that she was not flustered. She watched as time went by. While falling, she also cast water spells. The water reiki in the abyss was barely enough to condense into a water rope, but there was no place to climb between the cliffs. She was really not worried. It's not that she doesn't want to hide in the bead. If she hides in the bead, she will be fine. However, the bead itself will fall into the abyss. The space inside will be shaken. If she falls into the abyss, she will find that the bottom of the abyss is in the shape of a cup and there is no way out. She will be trapped in such a high abyss. To say the least, if she is lucky enough to get out, it will take her about a month. Her trip to Bermuda will be in vain. Lin Luoran has to get something out of this adventure and go back to see her parents. While falling, Lin Luoran uses her mind and disappears in the air. The bead falls down. When Lin Luoran shows up again, she is holding the double-headed phoenix hairpin in her hand, which is shining with a faint blue luster. Different from the phoenix hairpin's usual quietness, the hairpin seems to know that it can finally be used. It can't help bouncing slightly in Lin Luoran's hand. Lin Luoran has already tried its power. She mobilizes her reiki and slowly injects it into the phoenix hairpin. Of course, the fire reiki won't listen to Lin Luoran. The phoenix hairpin is like the water reiki, so it is repelled by the fire reiki. The double-headed phoenix is divided into two parts. Lin Luoran doesn't stop the input of reiki. Instead, she draws out half of her reiki and injects it into the two phoenix hairpins. The two phoenix hairpins suddenly expanded and turned into two thin blue swords that emitted a cold light. When they finally took shape, there were even two phantoms of phoenixes lingering around the swords. When the two phoenixes intertwined, they let out a clear and melodious phoenix cry. Lin Luoran is delighted. She slaps in the opposite direction and bumps into the cliff on one side. Holding a sword in each hand, Lin Luoran uses her right hand to stab one of the swords into the cliff. The sword is so sharp that the mountain wall is as vulnerable as tofu in front of it. With a puff sound, the sword almost penetrates into the mountain wall. Only the hilt with the carved phoenix head is left in Lin's hand. Of course, Lin Luoran's body falls on the mountain wall. Lin Luoran has probably experienced all the sufferings Li Shi'er has suffered. Lin Luoran is dizzy from the fall. Lin Luoran is about to rejoice when she sees that this method is feasible. However, the phoenix sword is so sharp that it cuts stones like tofu under the infusion of reiki. Lin Luoran, a living person, is even more powerful. The phoenix sword cuts all the way down. However, the speed is much slower than when Lin Luoran is falling. Lin Luoran doesn't know whether to laugh or cry. She can choose to pull the swords out by stepping on the ground, but she will still fall into the air, which is no different from before. Well, there are two swords anyway. She can also change hands, right? Lin Luoran comforts herself with the spirit of AQ. She changes her hands every now and then. The debris of the rocks splashes all over her face and her dress is also worn. Needless to say, her body is inevitably bruised. After a long time, Lin Luoran feels that she has almost used up all the reiki in her body. If it weren't for the abundant reiki in the secret land and the bead, Lin Luoran would have run out of reiki. Even at this speed, Lin Luoran can't bear it. She suddenly remembers that she is holding two swords. No wonder. Lin Luoran hurriedly puts one of the swords back into the space and focuses on the other one. She can handle it for a while. Lin Luoran keeps her mouth shut. She feels that the dust goes straight into her nose and ears, and she can't open her eyes. She can't bear it anymore. She is about to take the risk to hide in the bead when she feels something soft under her feet. With a muffled sound, Lin Luoran falls on the ground. Lin Luoran wipes the dust off her face and reveals her eyes. She sees that the place she is lying on is a soft and thick meadow. She feels tired and doesn't even bother to pull the swords out. Lying on the meadow, she feels sore all over. Especially her arms, they are so painful that she can't even lift them up. It's so tiring here. I really want to take a nap, Lin thinks to herself. However, after a while, she struggles to get up. She remembers clearly that when Guanjing said that this place is dangerous. She can't treat this place as a paradise. Her body is ragged and bruised. Reiki inside her body is exhausted. Well, she can't even cast a simple cleaning spell. Lin Luoran is speechless. She has some spare clothes in the space, but she can't take a bath in the spring in the space, can she? She has to drink the water. She can't do it. Anyway, the protagonists in the novels have magical springs. They raise fish and shrimps in the springs to make a fortune. They even drink the water to improve their health. How can they drink the water full of fish and shrimp's feces? It's so cold, Lin Luoran looks around. This is a misty valley. The plants are growing well. There should be water, right? Lin Luoran thinks for a while and tries to pull out the phoenix sword. God knows what is in the valley. It's better to have a weapon than nothing. The valley is not big. Lin Luoran finishes walking around in an hour and minutes. Fortunately, there are birds and flowers here. There is a small spring in the southeast corner, which is about 10 feet wide. Several animals with horns like deer and horses are walking elegantly and drinking water from time to time. They are not flustered when Lin Luoran comes near. They are very docile. Unfortunately, this is not only a cup, but also a chemical beaker with a long neck and a big bottom. That is to say, the cliff is the wall of the cup and the valley is the bottom of the cup. Lin Luoran can't climb out of here unless she can fly up. Since there is no way out, Lin Luoran can see the bottom of the spring. There are no large animals in the valley. The rabbits and horses don't seem to be dangerous. Lin Luoran is dirty. Looking at the spring, she feels itchy. She uses up her Reiki, but her spiritual mind is still there. She takes out a spare dress from the space and jumps into the water. The horses are scared and run away. The spring is very cold. It is like ice compress on Lin Luoran's abrasions. Even the wounds don't hurt so much. Lin Luoran buries her face in the water. She feels so comfortable that she doesn't want to raise her head. How many years have passed? How can a woman's dress be like this? It's so offensive. Chapter 96. Lin Luoran's hand under the water clenches the phoenix sword. Her wet hair drips water on her face and into her eyes, which makes her very uncomfortable. However, she still tries to open her eyes wide and stare at the floating figure above. Speaking of which, the figure on the auspicious cloud doesn't look like a human at all. It is a slender woman in a bright yellow palace dress with her hair in a bun. Different from Li Xiu, who likes to wear tang clothes, this palace dress is elegant and dignified. With a colorful and fragrant peony in her hair, she is graceful and gorgeous. If Li Xiu is a painting of a beautiful woman in meticulous brushwork, this woman is a beauty in ancient costume who has just come out of the painting after being sealed for many years. She has a kind of frozen beauty that stays in the past time and space. Who are you? Not everyone who is good-looking is a good person, and not everyone who can step on auspicious clouds is a fairy. Lin Luoran is not so naive as to turn into a naive girl and bow to such a beauty. Lin Luoran doesn't let her guard down at all. You are just a cultivator in the level of training qi. How dare you be so rude in front of me? Didn't your master teach you manners? The woman in the palace dress looks angry. It seems that she is very angry at Lin Luoran's disrespectful behavior. Lin Luoran ignores her. She has been at the bottom of the valley for a while, but the woman doesn't come out earlier. Instead, she comes out when Lin is taking a bath. If she is a man, Lin Luoran will be in trouble. Fairy? The woman smiles. That's right. Everyone in the cultivation world knew me, White Fairy. Which school are you from? How dare you come into the secret land with such a low level of cultivation? What level of cultivation does she have to stay in the space by stepping on the cloud? Didn't Wen Guanjing say that only cultivators in the level of training qi could enter the secret land? Then what about the woman in front of her? Lin Luoran finally knows what is wrong with Wen Guanjing's explanation. He said that there are foundation-laying boluses that can help people advance. However, if all the cultivators who came in were in the level of training qi, where did they get so many foundation-laying boluses? However, Lin Luoran doesn't doubt that she has to go out in a month. After all, the Reiki here is peaceful and pure. It may be the last pure land on the earth for cultivation. If Master Guo could stay here for a long time, he wouldn't have asked her for Reiki Jade. He could have just come here to cultivate. Just what kind of variable had occurred? How did this woman manage to stay here? Lin Luoran blinks. The former world of cultivation? Fairy, how many years have you been here? Have you ever gone out? In fact, Lin Luoran wants to say, Fairy, if you have something to say, can you let me get dressed first? However, there is a huge gap between them and Lin Luoran doesn't dare to be rash. It seems that this fairy has a bad temper. The fairy seems to be too lazy to answer Lin Luoran's question. She says coldly, Junior, put on your clothes first. Fairy, you are so considerate. Lin Luoran wants to put the sword in the space, but she is not sure how high the personal ability of the white fairy in front of her is and whether she can see through the secret of the sacred bead. Lin Luoran is just a duckweed in personal ability cultivation. The special department only comes for benefits. Master Mu and others are also kind to her at this time. After all, the sacred bead is the root of Lin Luoran's life. She must hold it tight. Of course, the white fairy can't peep at her. Lin Luoran manages to mobilize a trace of Reiki and casts the simplest water curtain. No matter whether it works in front of the white fairy or not, it is a kind of comfort for Lin Luoran. Lin Luoran quickly puts on a long dress. Obviously, she can't wear high heels in this kind of place. She feels lucky that she has even found flat shoes earlier. In less than a minute, she has put on the dress. Her wet hair and the water drops all over her body can be dried with the water absorption spell. Cultivation is really convenient for herself. As for the phoenix sword, it is easy to cause a conflict if she holds a weapon in her hand. Lin Luoran turns it back into a single phoenix hairpin. She makes a loose bun and puts it in her hair. The white fairy turns around and looks at Lin Luoran. Although she is very beautiful, she has to admit that this junior in the level of training qi is elegant and refined. When the white fairy sees the single phoenix hairpin in Lin Luoran's hair, she pauses for a moment. It seems that she doesn't stop at all, so Lin Luoran naturally doesn't notice it. Nice to meet you, fairy. Lin Luoran is being impolite. Wen Guanjing has saluted her before, but that is only between peers. Lin Luoran doesn't dare to imitate him. She just shows respect to Wen Guanjing. The white fairy doesn't say anything. Maybe it is because Lin Luoran sees Lin Luoran's respectful attitude. The white fairy disperses the magic cloud under her feet and lands on a slightly higher round stone. She is still looking down at Lin Luoran with a condescending feeling. Lin Luoran feels that her neck is itchy under the white fairy's gaze. The white fairy says, You haven't answered my previous question. Why do you dare to come to the Lost Land with your little personal ability? The Lost Land? Is this the name of the secret land in the world of cultivation? Lin Luoran thinks about it, but she still answers respectfully, Fairy, I am an individual cultivator. I am not under the control of a master. I came here with other cultivators. Lin Luoran knows about schools. In reality, Wen Guanjing is from the Wen family of Zhu Mountain and there is another branch on Mount Qingqing. However, Lin Luoran doesn't know who the white fairy is. If the white fairy happens to know about these two schools and asks Lin Luoran, she will feel that she has been deceived. God knows what will happen. Lin Luoran might as well say that she is an individual cultivator and she doesn't know anything. An individual cultivator? The white fairy smiles. How can an individual cultivator inherit the sword of bright snow? Does the white fairy know this sword? The Sword of Bright Snow is such a beautiful name. Is it a famous sword in the world of cultivation? Lin Luoran doubts whether she is so lucky that she can get a famous sword from a random place. Compared with this, she thinks that the White Fairy is more likely to know this sword. Fairy, there is something you don't know. Nowadays, the world of cultivation is declining. Maybe the Sword of Bright Snow was accidentally lost and I got it by chance. It is not because of inheritance. The White Fairy doesn't believe it. How can this sword be lost? Is that person dead? The White Fairy murmurs and Lin Luoran is confused. However, the White Fairy suddenly raises her head and says angrily, "Are you trying to fool me? Tell me, which generation of the Misty Peak are you?" Lin Luoran feels like someone has knocked her on the head. Misty Peak? Isn't it a place in a kung fu novel by Master Jean? If it weren't for the abundant Reiki here, Lin Luoran would have suspected that the White Fairy in front of her is an actress hired by someone to read lines. Fairy, the world of cultivation is declining. Thousands of years ago, all cultivators above the level of gathering vitality disappeared together. I have never heard of the Misty Peak you mentioned. Lin Luoran adds silently. Maybe it doesn't count. Cultivators above the level of gathering vitality disappeared together? That person also disappeared. The White Fairy is shocked. She lowers her head and seems to be thinking about something. Lin Luoran looks at the White Fairy quietly. She always feels that the timing of the White Fairy's appearance is too strange. Something must be wrong if things are abnormal. Now, Lin Luoran finds that the White Fairy is very beautiful. She always feels that the White Fairy is going to drift away with the wind. She is so elegant that she doesn't look like a real person. Lin Luoran thinks about the words, "not a real person," and suddenly realizes something. She looks at the White Fairy's feet and finally knows what she has been ignoring. Before Lin Luoran takes action, the White Fairy seems to have finished thinking. She suddenly raises her head and her beautiful face looks like a ferocious ghost. "Junior, if you lie to me, I will destroy your primordial spirit." Chapter 97. White Fairy's face freezes for a second. Then she becomes even angrier. "How dare you!" She raises her hand and pounces on Lin Luoran. Her slender wrist suddenly turns into a dark and ugly ghost claw. The nails are like iron blades, shining with cold light. The ghost claw is about to grab Lin Luoran. The Reiki here is abundant. It is good for Lin Luoran to recover. She is able to cast spells now. However, in front of the approaching ghost claw, Lin Luoran is as calm as a mountain collapsing in front of her. No matter how strong the wind is, Lin Luoran stands firm like a pine tree and a bamboo. The sharp nails seem to have pierced into her cheeks. Lin Luoran shouts, "Fireball spell." White Fairy is shocked. She takes back the ghost claw and returns to the big stone. She is as beautiful as a flower. However, she finds that Lin Luoran is just scolding without any fluctuation of fire Reiki. For a moment, White Fairy doesn't know whether to be angry or shocked. She is fooled by this young girl. "You?" Lin Luoran claps her hands. She looks as if nothing has happened. However, she has made the right bet. She has really walked around the gate of hell. It is a lie to say that she is not nervous. "Fairy, it's just a small fireball, yet you're so afraid. Could it be that your primordial spirit is so unstable?" Lin Luoran doesn't know why she has the courage to guess the situation of White Fairy just by guessing. White Fairy snorts, "Young girl, you don't need to care about my primordial spirit." Although her attitude is not good, she indirectly admits Lin Luoran's guess. Lin Luoran doesn't mind her attitude. Instead, she says in a good mood, "Senior, it is not good for either of us to be in a stalemate. Why don't we sit down and talk it out? Isn't that better for both of us?" The grass is soft. Lin Luoran sits down and makes a "please" gesture to White Fairy. White Fairy snorts and stands still on the round stone. After a while, she can't help but ask, "How did you know?" Although her physical body has long been disintegrated, her primordial spirit is still in the realm of the past. She is trapped in this place and has been practicing illusions. She doesn't believe that this junior in the training chi stage can see through it. "How could you tell?" Lin Luoran doesn't answer the question directly. Instead, she asks, Fairy, were you also so polite to little cultivators in the level of training Qi? In the past? In the past, she wouldn't even look at a small Qi condensation cultivator like him. White Fairy has been trapped in this secret land for a long time. When she suddenly sees a living person, she doesn't consider the difference in status in the world of personal ability. On second thought, she realizes her failure. She is too impatient? Seeing the look on White Fairy's face, Lin knows that she has figured it out. Speaking of the difference in seniority, Lin has to thank Wen Guanjing. If he didn't insist on calling her sister, Lin would have forgotten about this very suspicious point. Although there are kind seniors in the world of personal ability, White Fairy has a bad temper. How can she resist the temptation to capture her and ask her clearly? Instead, she keeps asking. Of course, White Fairy is not completely sure about capturing her. Even if you have doubts, I don't believe that you can see through my primordial spirit with your low level of personal ability. Well, Lin Luoran didn't think that way at first. She just felt that White Fairy doesn't look like a real person, but it is just her intuition. It has nothing to do with whether White Fairy can see through her illusions or not. What makes Lin Luoran sure is that White Fairy threatens to destroy her primordial spirit. Lin Luoran is a cultivator in the level of training Qi. How can she have a primordial spirit? White Fairy may say that out of anger, but Lin Luoran just wants to trick her. As for why she didn't run away when the ghost claw was right in front of her, Lin Luoran believes that there must be something wrong. If White Fairy really wanted to kill Lin Luoran, she wouldn't need to use so many mysterious tricks. After hearing Lin Luoran's words, White Fairy stares at Lin Luoran for a long time. Lin Luoran feels embarrassed and says, "You are very calm. You are the most intelligent female cultivator I have ever seen in my life." Lin Luoran smiles. She knows herself well. She is not smart, but she is calmer than others in times of crisis and has the courage to cut off all means of retreat. Seeing Lin Luoran smile, White Fairy adds, "Don't be so proud. If my primordial spirit were not incomplete, you wouldn't be so arrogant." Lin Luoran takes off the sword of bright snow from her head and says, "Fairy, I am not so talented. Maybe your identity has something to do with this sword?" White Fairy is in the form of primordial spirit, but the expression on her face is no different from that of a real person. Hearing Lin Luoran's words, she says with disdain, "I have revealed a lot of information in my words. It is not surprising that you can guess it." Lin Luoran touches the hairpin and says nothing. White Fairy can pretend that she doesn't know about the sword of bright snow, but she points it out to arouse Lin Luoran's curiosity. White Fairy doesn't know about the change of gathering vitality 1,000 years ago, which means that she has been in the Lost Land for at least 1,000 years. Taking into account the long life of a cultivator, White Fairy must be old enough to make such a stupid mistake. For a moment, Lin Luoran doesn't know whether she has seen through White Fairy or she has fallen into White Fairy's trap. Seeing that Lin Luoran is lost in thought, White Fairy sneers, "You don't have to guess. Since I have come to you, I will certainly give you great benefits." Benefits? Lin Luoran never believes in free lunch. She is not interested in the benefits White Fairy is talking about. Most of the time, people lose not to others but to their own greed. Lin Luoran knows this. Seeing that Lin Luoran is not interested, White Fairy smiles instead. "Do you know how far it is from here to the exit? Do you think you can get out of here with your personal ability?" Lin Luoran looks up at the narrow entrance of the valley. She and Li seem to fall from the sky. They have never seen the top of the mountain. Judging by the time they fall and the distance, Lin Luoran knows that it is an unreachable height. With her current personal ability, even if she uses spells of the 5 elements, the cliff is smooth and there is no place for her to recover Reiki. There is no hope for her to get out of here. Why does White Fairy say this? Lin Luoran looks at White Fairy. White Fairy looks up and points at the sky with her right hand. She says in a very tempting tone, "Do you want to step on the sword of bright snow and fly out of this abyss?" Fly on a sword? The first thing that comes to Lin Luoran's mind is the sword light of the Amei swordsman in the movie Zoo Mountain. Does White Fairy mean that she can also ride on a sword? White Fairy smiles like 100 blooming flowers. She looks at Lin Luoran quietly. It seems that she wants to see what choice this calm little female cultivator will make in the face of temptation. To the students who insist on voting black every day, how much do you love this book that you hate me, the author who wrote so poorly? You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.